You getting yourself ready for our show?
Man, I hope you guys are ready for a good, solid 2.5 hours of mediocrity. We got more Jigs and Bigs coming up for you guys. What an amazing show. I am joking about the mediocrity, of course. We got a lot of good stuff going on this week, guys. We are on the precipice of another year, the 40th year of the Springfield Sportsman Show. That's happening this weekend. Jigs and Bigs is going to be there all weekend long. We've got a booth going. We're going to be talking about the multi-species scavenger hunt series. We're going to be talking about all kinds of good stuff that we have coming up for the next year, doing demos on measuring fish, all kinds of good stuff, lots of fun, and we've got giveaways for the Springfield show too. We'll get into the details about that coming up in just a bit, guys. This week we have a bunch of stuff that we need to talk about. Joe and I are going to take a slightly more sober look at what went down in Ohio. Go over some of the details, some of the stuff that maybe we left out during the live show. It was unbelievably exciting, and we've got some stuff, loose ends to tie up with all that. Of course, we're going to hear from Shawn the fisherman. Shawn this week kind of had something amazing go down, and I'm sure he's dying to get this off his chest. All kinds of good stuff coming up. We hear from Binya up north. He's bitching about people in Facebook groups. We got Gear of the Week this week. We're going to Japan for that sucker. And in segment number 3, our interview segment, we have in the beef seat Taylor Magditch from the Fish or Die Bait Company. Now, Joe had made an announcement about working with Fish or Die as a new sponsor for this year's tournament season, but we've got all kinds of good information about the company, the ingenuity, all sorts of stuff that you're going to want to hear about. That's all coming up in just a bit. Guys, we have so much good Jigs and Bigs goodness for you guys. I hope you're ready. Crack open a cold one because you're going to need it. It's going to be that kind of a show.
Stings a little bit when I piss. You know what I mean?
How's everybody doing?
Sounds like a little better than you. If it stings when it. What happened in Ohio that your stinging piss is now occurring?
I think everyone's piss might sting a little bit.
I think so. I think everybody left Ohio with a little something extra than they planned on.
Well, considering all you motherfuckers locked yourselves out of that one bathroom, I mean, you had to, the whole house.
What even was that? That was ridiculous. Like we had 3, and nobody wanted to use the one in the master bedroom because, oh my God, you know what I mean? We don't want to step on your toes, Joe.
It was so nice.
Yeah, it was interesting because I mean we had 5 dudes in that one bedroom downstairs, and it was just like we should have had a rotating what do you call it? A rotating door in there, just spinning around, people running. Yeah. There was so much consumption going on.
Yeah, there was. There was
a lot. And Tim's asking a really good question here. He says, "What was the drink of choice during Columbus?" I was drinking micheladas almost all weekend.
Yeah, I really didn't have a drink of choice. It was just kind of whatever was there.
Although I take that back. I say that while we were at the house, that's what I was drinking. Usually like Miller Lights with a hot and spicy variety of Clamato. It was great. Fantastic. This is why I'm drinking this tonight, because I wanted to kind of tie it in. At the bar, there was a lot going on drinking wise at the bar, as it should be.
So many shots.
There was someone bought a round of like whiskey shots, which moments like seconds before we started with the show, which was rough. What else did we have? And then Nick DeShane bought a round for the whole bar, and it was something fancy. It was a much better shot.
That one was good.
Yeah.
And then I had my pre-show like ritual tequila shot. And then that's the only way I'm getting in front of all them fucking people.
It was wild. And then there was the Drinko shot. Let's talk about that. I got to tell you, I owe a big round of applause and a bunch of gratitude to the one and only Zachariah Jones. And this is why. He made the suggestion that instead of doing a tier list, we do the fishy trivia. And by God, it came out to be the most fun I think we've done at a live show. It was a blast. Yeah. It was a ton of fun, And so thank you, Zach, for making this suggestion, because that's going to be something that we will do more often. I think in a live setting, it actually works even better than the tier list. And I think the feedback that I've been getting from folks so far in this last episode is that it is fun to listen to, because it's the question, and then 10 seconds later, you've got the answer right there. So you can sort of play along, which is kind of cool. So I kind of like that, but I did the format.
It's always tough to swallow admitting when Zach is right.
I know, it is. It's a very tough pill to swallow. But Shawn will be able to relate to this, because he's got enough experience playing my trivia. So all I did, Shawn, was I did 10 questions, like we do in round number 1 typically, right? And then we did Drinko. And then I did 10 more questions the way we do in round 3 normally. And then I did a final nearest wins bonus. All of it was fishy stuff. In fact, the last question was a question about Jigs and Bigs history, which was kind of cool. The nearest wins. It was a lot of fun. But the Drinko drink was absolutely fucking
vile.
What happened?
So we roll in, and, there's this, it's working in the bar industry, you hear lots of stuff, especially from people that are out of town, like regional brands of booze that are popular in different areas. And years ago, there was a guy that I worked with in Northampton. He's from the Chicago area. And Johnny was like, dude, he's like, I wish we had Malort. Like, that's the supreme spirit for Drinko. Like, when I first started doing Drinko, and that was happening up in Northampton, he was like, we need to get this. But no bars in Massachusetts carry it, and here's why. It's terrible. It is it's a herbaceous liqueur that it's all 100% wormwood. It is the most bitter flavor you can put past your lips. It's not pleasant. Like, there's nothing pleasant about it. Maybe in a drink recipe when you're looking for like a little bitterness to add to it, sure, but by itself, not an enjoyable sensation. So, I bust out the wheel, spin the wheel, we get bartender's choice. Now, I saw that there was Malort. I had a conversation with Susie, the bartender that was on during our event, about Malort, and she was like, okay, she's like, if we choose liquor or something, we're going to go with that because it just makes sense. And then it was pint glass plus a spin, and then it was salad dressing and random team pick. And what ended up in that glass was ranch dressing, Malort, and this is in a pint glass, and it was just topped off with soda water. It was ridiculous. And Adam Blomeke, my God, he says, I've had worse. He would know because he drank that shit. Unbelievable. There's video proof on both the Bobby Roast Beef and Jigs and Bigs Instagram pages and on the Facebook pages. There's a reel in there, like, unbelievable. It was absolutely wild. I don't know if I expressed this at all during that show, Joe, but after that first 10 questions, there was a guy from another bar nearby that wanted my card.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. You're like, hey, I'm from Massachusetts, just so you know.
I'm like, I don't really have the availability out there, but if you're willing to pay, we can talk, But it would be like a 3-day ordeal. I'd have to drive all the way out there with my gear, have to find some fishing spots, have to hit up Ryan Dahl for some spots,
100%.
Need to. But yeah, it was an awesome show, man. The expo itself was mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. We had a blast. Like, it was wild. There was a point where it was a little bit slower in our section, and I didn't have anybody in the seat that I was interviewing, and you could hear like Jacob Wheeler. And I'm like, holy friggin' shit, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. We weren't far from the tank.
No, we were like I think 2 rows away. It was crazy. Yep. We had a really good spot. We had a lot of traffic come through. We got to talk to so many people. You guys are going to hear some of those snippets that didn't make last week's show, because I've got a bunch of them that I'm going to pop in here and there, probably around the breaks, just to kind of like add some other stuff. So you guys, they're all going to get played at some point or another, but just a little at a time. It's just, man, we had such a great time. And I'll tell you what, like, all the dudes, and we were doing a lot of kissing ass with the Dark Horse Pro Staff guys, but they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. Like, they were so helpful, and not just obviously like with the Dark Horse stuff, but they were very, very helpful with us, like in our live show, and they were super, super engaged. It was really, really great. It was cool to see some of the bait companies come out. You know, the other brands like J.
That was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool. It was cool to see from Nico. Rex came out with his buddy Kevin. I still have a bunch of prizes to get out, but I've been getting them out slowly. Which, by the way,
Robusto was there.
Robusto was in the house. Yeah, Graham was there. It was awesome. JB from Vector Hooks was in the house. So, I mean, you're going to see some good stuff. In fact, you're going to hear from JB. You might hear from him in this show. He was one of the interviews that we had. I think one of the last interviews before we left to go set up at the bar. So it was absolutely
I think he was the last one. Yeah.
It was it was an absolute blast. Of course, all of this stuff, we've got a bunch of video too from the expo floor that's going to be on the Jigs and Bigs YouTube channel. And I bring up the Jigs and Bigs YouTube channel because Joe and I did something last night that we've never done. That sounds like a terrible setup for something. Get your minds out of the gutter, you motherfucker.
Oh no, I was okay with it.
Oh, all right, okay. No, you know, we recorded the interview with Taylor last night, and I had been sort of like wrestling with ways to kind of incorporate, because there's been a lot of folks that have said you should do some stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, but we've already, you know, like our shows, like nobody wants to watch a 3-hour long talking head. I mean, we could put it on there and maybe it would get a few plays, but I don't think it's going to go unless people are falling asleep to it. Maybe that's what they are. Who knows? Yeah. You know, like nobody really wants to watch that, but I keep hearing feedback that like that's what they want. Like they want the show on a video platform. Yep. So I said, well, what if we could just like strip it down and change it? So what we did is this. I actually recorded the video of the interview segment that we did with Taylor. And what we did was we live streamed it so that the jig heads were able to jump in and engage. Now, granted, we didn't do any sort of like promotional like awareness or anything for that. Vidal jumped in, and I think a couple other folks did too. Vidal said hello and then commented on one of the baits on the website. But you know, other than that, so that's eventually what's going to start happening is we'll schedule these. I'll drop a link in the Patreon so that folks can, you know, jump in and be part of it and engage actually with the guests. So I figure this way they can go through it, and then it'll run on the podcast. And a couple weeks later, I'm going to drop that video and I tried to incorporate some unique stuff that makes it unique to listen to. So we did a little bit of an unboxing. We talked a little bit beforehand, and that's all going to go in there. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Like, we're going to have ourselves a good time. And I think, you know, jumping, I guess we're YouTubers now too.
I guess so. And the one thing the audience needs to understand, like these interviews that Bobby does, they are like scheduled random. Like it's not like the same time. Yeah. So it could just, when they do those like drop concerts at random places across the city, it's going to be like that. We're just like, doing one at this time soon. The way you can hop on if you want. The
way that we generally do the recordings for this stuff is I use a website called Calendly. And what that does is it lets me punch in what my typical availability is. And then I submit a link to a potential guest, or if somebody reaches out to me and says that they're interested in being on the show, I'll give them that link, and then they'll choose a time that works for them. I'll look at that time and make sure it works for me, and then once everything is good, it goes on the schedule. What it does automatically is like it sets up a Zoom meeting and stuff, but I'm going to lay on StreamYard, I think, quite a bit. I tried to actually play with StreamYard a little bit last night. I don't know if you caught some of this, Joe, and work with it like as a director. When Taylor was talking and was kind of like had the stage, I made sure that his window was the largest one on there, and then when you would chime in, same thing. And it was I noticed that. Yeah, it was a blast, and it was even kind of nice because we were talking about was it the Gadsden? Is that The drop shot bait we were talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
The Gaston.
Yep.
So I went on the website and I grabbed a picture from that so I could
That was
show it on
great.
the screen.
Yeah,
I was like,
great. Yeah.
little things like that. And as we get better with this, it'll get better and better and better. And I think you guys will appreciate it. And especially the jig heads, because they get to jump in and engage and be a part of it.
Right.
And then also, they get to watch it if they want or listen to it later. And it's freaking awesome. Joe, how do you feel about being like, I guess kind of like treated like a piece of meat, really, and during the live show, especially toward that last segment there.
Oh man, it doesn't matter.
You saw the reel.
I had a blast out there. Oh my god, that was fucking fun. Zach had a blast.
Zach
for
had
sure.
a fucking great time. Everybody, I think, had a great time.
Oh, it was so fun. Being able, it's one thing talking to these guys via, text and never meeting in person, and being able to meet them all in person was just phenomenal. They were just as awesome as, they were, via our group chat.
Oh yeah.
And, one thing I also one thing a lot of people may not know is I ended up bringing my 5-year-old daughter down there too, because our childcare fell through, and, man, they are so good with her. I mean, she was great. Everyone was great with her. She was like, it's like she had a bunch of dads that weekend. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And exactly what happened was what I expected. Was like just Emma being there kind of, I think, kept everybody a little bit more in line, which was not a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tim Bender chimes in with a question about a random question for BFS. He goes, can I go straight fluoro 6-pound, or does it have to be braid 8-pound with fluoro 6-pound leader?
Straight fluoro.
You can go straight fluoro if you're more comfortable with that. I like to go with braid just because of the casting ability, and I don't go that light with my braid either. I go 10-pound to a 4-pound leader, and I've had no issues. A lot of that's going to depend on your rod, as far as like what kind of. But yeah, you'll have no problem going straight fluoro, no issues at all.
I do straight 6-pound fluoro on mine.
Yeah.
You can, when it has a handle.
Yeah, it's a handle exactly. Well,
no, I go because the spool is so shallow. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Oh yeah.
But obviously you're more having that small a braid. I'm sorry, that small a fluoro. You are susceptible if you do get a loop or kink in that inside that spool, it could break on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
So just be cognizant of that. Make sure if you do get a loop or something, you get it out. You're not like casting or reeling in over it or anything like that, because you'll wish you hadn't.
If there is a positive side to that spool being so shallow, other than the ability that it lets you cast the way that it does, and baits as light as they are, is that even if you were to blow up a whole spool, it's not that much line. You know what I mean?
No,
it's really not. But yeah, I would also keep in mind, like if you're thinking about throwing anything that's top water, the idea in you setting one combo, braid to leader is good for that, because then you cut your leader off and you've got floating line. Just something to, it's way more preference than anything else.
Yeah.
I was out.
Agreed.
I was out this week with my BFS stuff, and actually, why don't we go ahead and dive into the weekend reviews? I actually have fishy stuff that we can talk about. I'll dive in there. So Monday, we had just gotten back from Ohio. Adam and I had actually left Sunday morning because we had a good 10-hour ride. You guys left on Sunday too, right, Joe?
Yeah, we were like an hour behind you.
Yeah. So I got back Sunday night. It was great. It was nice to be home. It was kind of nice to sleep in my own bed. And I had a ton of work that I needed to do. So I was like, this is actually a good thing. Monday I got up. I edited the show. I did record that morning the intro and outro to the show just to kind of button it up nice. And there were some production issues that I was like, I want to get in front of these before people are like,
Bobby, we heard some feedback. Is everything okay? Have you lost your touch?
And the feedback coming back.
Podcast sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell? I'll never listen to this shit again.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants that shit. But I did hear back from people. They're like, dude, it was not anywhere near as bad as you thought. I'm my worst critic. So that was Monday, and it was last week was a full week back at trivia. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday, I had that package arrive from Adam Blomeke. He sent me some goodies for basically just allowing him to sit in my truck for 20 hours and keep him entertained conversationally, which was good. And he sent some really good stuff. If you guys want to see what that's all about, I did a live on Instagram unboxing some of that stuff, but I go a little bit more into detail on the YouTube video with the interview with Taylor. So if you guys want to check that out, you definitely can go for it. Have fun with it. Friday, I went out and fished. Friday, I had a few hours. So my wife hit me with this request. I've talked about this on the show. Like, Valentine's Day is Tuesday. Well, my wife's birthday is a week after. I'm sorry, Valentine's Day this week is Wednesday. My wife's birthday is a week after. So I get hit doubly. This time of year, it's tough. It's tough. Like, if your boy Beef looks a little down in the dumps, he is. Like, I'm never going to financially recover from this shit. Every year, it's just more and more and more. It's ridiculous. So I talked to my wife and to see what she wanted for her birthday. And actually, her request was great. She goes, I've been a complete degenerate and have overlooked the inspection of my car. I don't want to face the mechanic. Like, they're afraid. Like, she's afraid that she's going to get judged. And she goes, so you take my car. It's like she had an October sticker.
Oh, yeah.
And you know how the state now, it's like if you go over that next month, they give you the month that you went in for.
I found that out.
They had to give her a January.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was as far back as they went. They're like, all right. So
okay. So you did all right.
Yeah, she did. I mean, she got a couple months for free. That's the way I look at it, So she had me go do that.
Stick it to the man.
I went crazy early, ran right out, got this done, went out, did some fishing. I fished 4 different spots. One spot, this little creek that comes out off of the Chicopee River. No, not the Chicopee, the Connecticut River. It sucked. The wind on Friday was stupid. I mean, it was like, I think 15 mile an hour gusts. Yeah. It was like,
I didn't know you were out on Friday. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it was just, I'm like, it was like an addict, like I needed to go. And I will tell you, I think I mentioned on the show that there's a little bit of like a learning curve with the BFS casting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I really am starting to feel really confident about what I'm doing with it. So hit up 4 different spots, skunked on all of them. It sucked, but I did have at the last one an interesting encounter with a hippie couple that I would place in their like mid 20s to mid 30s in that window, probably like early 30s, something like that. I forget exactly. I told Shawn about this one already, and I forgot exactly what the breakdown was, but it was like. They were, sharing a pre-roll or something. I know because I was in nose reach of it. I could smell it. I was wearing actually this hoodie, my Reaper hoodie, and with the wind blowing like crazy, I had the face mask up. I had my glasses on. I had the hood on, the whole 9 yards. And the guy is saying to his lady, he's standing there and he goes,
he looks like a ninja, doesn't he? It's kind of amazing. Look at the way he's able to place that little worm, like right underneath those bushes, like right over the water. It's just right, it just kind of drops in there like it's like a ballerina. That worm.
He kept calling it a worm. I was throwing a micro jig with a 2-inch Kitech loser. I got a good kick out of it. I had a nice laugh. I was like, it's only in Connecticut. Because, you have to cross state lines for that shit. What do you got, Shawn?
Sounded like he was documenting a nature show or what?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. Like he was just ripped,
Today's episode brought to you by Hashables. Hashables. They get you fucked up.
You know what I mean? Yes, Hashables do get you fucked up, Adam. They do. They work great and taste better than most gummies. What else did I do? Saturday was fucking crazy. I shared a little bit of this info in the green room during our interview segment yesterday. I had taken my wife out to our favorite bar up the Shears, Mooncloud. I've talked about this place before. Mooncloud does two things. They serve craft cocktails with like real like select spirits, like the selection of like whatever spirit world you like to jump into. If you're a gin drinker, they have a variety that you can get lost in what they've got for selection. Really, really unbelievably well-crafted cocktails and charcuterie. That's the other element. And we ordered, let me go through the list of what we had. We had this, so for the meats, we selected two, which one of these I was kind of shocked that they put it under the meats category. But it was, this was a smoked Wagyu, like, it was almost like a pastrami, almost. You know what I mean? And it was sliced so thin, you could like see right through it. So you just take a little piece of it and let it sit on your tongue and it almost disintegrates. It was absolutely delicious, but it was not the highlight of the board. My wife, I was actually looking at the smoked trout fillets, and my wife says, "Oh, what's this bluefish pate?" My wife has never ever said, "Let's get a pate," ever. That's not her thing. And let alone a fish pate, you know? She loved it. It was out of this world. It was delicious. We were asking for recipes, and they were very tight-lipped. They would not give us much. So we had to do some Googling and kind of piece some things together. We also got, there is a cheese that we are just huge fans of. It's called Four Fat Farm, and it's almost like a brie, this cheese, except it's just ridiculously like buttery. Like when you cut the wheel in half, it has a brine or a rind around it. When you cut it in half, like the inside it's almost like it's been melting, but it's just come out of the fridge. Like it is ridiculous. And it's so, so buttery. So we had that. We had the seasoned nuts. You know, the lady likes the seasoned nuts. And what else did we have? With that, some pickled beets, and I think that's it. It was a little insane. It was a little nuts. But,
I love pickled beets, and everyone else in my house absolutely hates them.
Dude, pickled beets are out of this world. I personally
They're
like
the best.
Pickled. If you're gonna pickle beets, pickle eggs and do them in the same jar. You get the purple eggs. Oh my god.
Okay. All right.
Oh, dude.
All right.
Yeah. Farts like
Whoa.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, we had it, but I bring this up because I'm going to share a little too much. And my wife she's headed down south with my youngest daughter on a little weekend retreat, you know, or a little, they're off this week. So they're going to be gone for a few days. I'm going to go ahead and share a little too much. 20 years ago, to the fucking day, my wife was arrested with a DUI. Because she was out celebrating her birthday with her best friend in life, and her best friend decided, I gotta pee, and I cannot wait until we get where we're going. So my wife decides, let's make it a group bathroom stop. I'm gonna go too. Mass State Trooper pulls up behind them. Questions get asked. They've been overserved. She goes to jail. Judge wants to, make an example out of my wife, who has a crystal clean record, by the way, is like has never been in trouble or has never been caught. You know what I mean? So this is all going on. Well, last night we're driving back home. We're coming back from the Shears. We were coming along 57. Shawn probably has a good idea of where we were. Very remote. She's like, oh, I really should use the bathroom before we left the bar. And I'm like, yeah, you should have. So I'm like, well, I'm asking, Siri for the closest destinations nearby. And we have about 10, 15 minutes, well, about 15, more than 15 minutes before we get there. She's like, I'll be fine. She's like, I'll hold out till like Southwick. I'll be fine. No bullshit. 30, 40 seconds later, she goes, you better pull over now. She gets out, does the patented dual door open little partition, and proceeds to do her business. I'm walking her through it. I'm like, I've been here a million times, right? She gets in the car afterwards. Excellent job, by the way. I have to applaud her efforts. And it dawns on her that it's 20 years to the day since she got a DUI doing the same thing. And I was like, see, you've bettered yourself. You've bettered yourself. You learned how to use the partition. I'm proud of her. Very proud of her.
Perfect.
And then I went out today too, and I fished. And I only went to one spot. I went really basically just to go and bullshit with Paul. He is loving his doomsday rods, by the way. He brought one rod with him, and it was a spinning combo. I couldn't believe it. That is not like that man at all. At all. So yeah, he and I were just out doing our thing. The wind was just so bitter cold. It was ridiculous. I thought my hands were going to fall off. We fished for like 2 hours, and I was just like, I got to call it, man. I'm dead. I am dead. It is time to go and record the show and whatever. I did get a bite. I'm guessing that I had a fish pick up this micro jig and drop it because I saw the line move and then just stop moving. And because that's what it was. It just moved a little bit. I went to swing for it and there was nothing there. So I'm like, you motherfucker. But spring is almost here. And I'll be going to North Carolina in a couple of weeks, so that's a good thing. How about you boys? Did you do anything fishy? Anything interesting?
Man, so Monday was a big recovery day from, getting back from Columbus because, I think I mentioned on the last show, I had a lot of drinks in me. I don't remember, but I was at I was in Harrisburg before I went to Columbus. I shot down and went to the Great American Outdoor Show, which is the size of that show is absolutely bananas. The fishing portion of it is actually the smallest section, but just, oh my gosh, it's like, I mean, every gun manufacturer, bow manufacturer, knife manufacturer, everything, gear, backpacks, clothing, hunting, outdoors. It was insane. But I went down there, spent a couple days with Taylor and Fish or Die. Had a blast.
That's awesome.
And then we shot up to Columbus. So I had some recovery to do on Monday. Started to edit some, it's Bobby mentioned, we basically filmed every interview. We filmed the live show. So I was doing a lot of editing with that. I've been working on that the last few days. Finally got the live show over to Bobby, which took about 2 fucking days to download to the Google Drive.
Yep.
4K with, an hour and a half. It was like fucking a bajillion fucking gigabytes. But anyway, so I did that. I finally did order the new bank charger for the boat. That should be here in a couple days.
Oh, that's good.
I need that. I started to fuck around with baits. I started in my setups to kind of see what I need to get for rods because I broke a couple. So I finally made a list of that.
That's good.
Been working on that. Video editing. Yesterday, I took it easy. Today, I was out car shopping with the wife all day long. Literally just got back. She finally picked one, bought one. So we're good there.
That's good. She's stoked.
Oh yeah. Good. Yeah. She's pumped. It was awesome because she's like, she finally like, I was giving her all the, cause I'm a car guy. I love cars. Yeah. I was giving her kind of all the suggestions and whatnot. And no, she went on and picked this one herself. She saw it online, went and looked at it out in Natick and she ended up buying it. So
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
What did she get? You want to share with us?
Thanks, man. That's good. Sorry, I needed a drink.
Oh, fair enough.
Thanks, Jeremiah. All right, so I will let you know, but people understand this was not my choice.
Of course.
And my wife works extremely hard, and she deserves whatever she picks.
Absolutely.
But, she ended up getting a Maserati Levante.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the Maserati SUV. Yeah.
How much Coke actually comes in the glove box of that car?
A shit ton. A shit. It's got a fucking Ferrari motor in it.
So you know this you know what this means. We're gonna be borrowing that son of a bitch, Joe. You and I
Obviously.
are gonna go. We're gonna go tanning and we're gonna go hit the beach.
Yep, and we're gonna get there real fast.
Couple of dudes. Yeah, that is a machine. Wow.
So I couldn't believe it. She shocked me. She shocked me with that choice. I was like, I wasn't gonna argue it, and yeah. So good for her. She deserves it. She
That's
works
exactly
her ass off.
Yep.
Deserves every second of it.
That's the whole thing, man. When it comes to when you're making a purchase that's of like that caliber, you know what I mean? Well, I just mean just a motor vehicle these days in general. You know what I mean? And you're going to be stuck to it. The way these car loans are, the number of years, you better love that fucking car. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna you got to hang on to that son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We talked about in Columbus, I think, too.
Yeah.
I think you were in on that conversation. Just how fucking bananas the interest rates are.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, they're still bananas. Found out today. They're still bananas.
Oh, it's amazing.
Doesn't matter how good your credit is, how much you put down. The fucking interest rates are absolute bizarre.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, think about it. If you don't have decent credit, think about how bad you're getting fucked. It's crazy. So
they were telling us people are like buying like with bad credit or like 20, 21%, 22%. And that's like the norm. The average, not to get into like finance, the average interest rate for vehicles right now is like 11%.
Yeah. Yep.
It's fucking crazy.
And I remember years ago when my credit was in the toilet and I was financing vehicles, I was like, I had the same thing. You know, it was like, and that 11% was like devastating. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. But
now,
yeah. How about you, Shawn?
Yeah.
Oh no, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Bobby. Let's hear it.
Is this a 24 or is this a?
It's a leftover 23.
It's a leftover 23. That's the best.
Yep.
That's the best.
So we got a good deal on it because of that. But
Pat's asking about the exhaust.
Fucking stupid.
It is. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
And the best part is like she has this like phobia to where she doesn't like test driving cars. So granted, we go there and you know, this is kind of like an upscale dealership, obviously. I do not fit in. I like have my Carhartt jacket on, fucking like, you know what I mean? And not my Lululemon pants and fucking, you know, goose jacket or whatever those fucking things are. But I go, hey, she's like specifically looking at this one. He's like, yeah. He fucking puts the plate on, hands us the keys. I was like, all right, yeah, just take it for a spin. Doesn't even come with us or anything. I was like, okay. So obviously I checked it out to see how it was.
Oh yeah.
Meg has a phobia where she won't drive, like test drive cars. So she makes me do it. She like feels like she's going to like crash it. I don't know.
Oh,
and, so yeah, so I drove it. We had fun. We had a good time.
Well, that's good though. That's awesome.
Yep. Yep.
So what about you, Shawn? How walk us through your week? Because you had some exciting shit go down this week.
Well, I'm going to catch you guys up on a couple weeks because I wasn't around I wasn't in Columbus with you guys.
That's right.
Well, to start off with, a couple weeks ago, around the time you guys were in Columbus, or maybe before, I can't remember. No, it was a week before you guys left. So I got sick, and just to be safe, you know, I grabbed the COVID test and it came up negative. So I'm like, well, I must have this fucking RSV or whatever's going around. There's like 18 different, you know, viruses going around right now. And it just kept getting worse all week. And finally I retested again the following week, and I've got my first dose of COVID. I survived 4 years without getting it and got whacked this week. So that sucked. In the meanwhile, I did take a few days off basketball because, you know, I had to sit and not do anything, and I was fucking dying and had no idea what was going on. And we closed out our schedule with a couple of wins that we needed and we were going to get as far as the high school team goes. And then it basically set up a conference championship game inadvertently because the team we played last on the last game on our schedule was the tied for first with us. Both of us were 10-1 in conference, and they had lost to us, and we had lost a game where our star player went down and just we got beat on a last second shot. So shit happened. So we were both 10-1, went into their place on senior night where I don't think we've won in 5 or 6 years, and blew the doors off on Valentine's Day. So I've with a 26-point win on a senior night at that team's school, and
my alma
all
mater,
the importance. Yeah, all the points that were scored that game. I mean, our star player almost outscored their entire team.
That's insane.
He's good. Yeah, this kid's fucking good. I don't know if he's going to be around next year. He might go to a prep school, but he's fucking good.
Yeah.
And we took the conference for the first time since, Bobby, you and I were in high school. That's how long.
That's crazy, dude.
When you got a tiny school with not a lot of resources, a good player comes along, you can do magical things. That worked out really nice. And we are lined up for the postseason starting this week. So see what happens.
That's crazy, dude.
But yeah, it was something else. It was really, really good.
Did you say you were officially calling that game the St. Valentine's Day Massacre?
The Valentine's Day Massacre, as far as I'm concerned, because that was I knew we were going to win. I just figured it'd be a lot closer, and it was just there was no game. Like it was nothing. And unfortunately, my son didn't even get to play most of it because in the first quarter, he went in the game. He was in there for about a minute.
Yep.
Was under the hoop, went for a rebound. An opposing player fell, rolled his knee up, and Brody, had a fucking hyperextended knee that he's just gotten over.
Oh, jeez.
His knee went sideways.
Yep.
Yeah. So the final bit of this is we started up practicing again, getting ready for the postseason.
Yep.
And with the COVID, I've been coughing like a fucking piece of shit for 2 weeks, like bad, hacking up yellow stuff. And I may have partially, prepared my my oblique muscles for, any damage. And I went ahead and took like 2 steps at practice the other day, going after somebody who was shooting a 3-pointer, and it felt like someone drove a dagger into my side. So I apparently pulled my oblique, and it is one of the most painful injuries I've had because I keep coughing, and every time I cough, the dagger goes in deeper.
Oh,
it fucking hurts. So I've been icing it on and off for 2 days, and yeah, that's about it. So basketball's still going. Shawn the Fisherman is still in hibernation.
Yep. Oh,
that's about it.
That's how it is. Postseason. That's awesome. How's Brody? Brody will be playing postseason, right?
Yeah, he's good to go.
Right.
He was back at work today and everything. It's just he had to take a day off with the knee, and I always play it safe with him because when we were growing up, coaches didn't play it safe with our injuries, and we were all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good chance that all the damage I did to my joints and my legs over, probably about 7-8 years, resulted in me blowing my knee a few years ago because everything around it was weak, and I fucking sprained an ankle. And the next thing you know is my knee to go. So
it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
We're old.
Crazy. But good that things have changed a little bit now, obviously.
Yeah.
We have a wild weekend coming up. Like, it just doesn't stop. I was talking to somebody and they're like, oh, hey, maybe we can get out and do some fishing this weekend. I was like, nah, no, we can't. I was like, there is yet another expo going on. This one, the Hometown Expo for us. The Springfield Sportsman Show is kicking off on Friday, setting up on Thursday a little bit. I have an event going on in Boston that evening. It's a music bingo event. Should be a blast. So we'll be setting up. I'm going to be setting up early, kind of like getting there on Thursday, unloading, getting a few things together, and then I'll finish setup before things open up on Friday, if need be. But it's going to be pretty good. I think I'm going to do the same thing I did last year, and just invite a bunch of people out to trivia. If they want to kind of hang out and have some fun or something like that, maybe I'll do a fishy round. Who knows? Or a whole fishy game. Who knows? You don't know. It could get crazy. It's going to be fun. I did take a look at the list because the OSEG did post all of the exhibitors that are going to be there, and it's packed. There's all kinds of good stuff. You guys should definitely come down. It's a very, very, very affordable show. Like, for the ticket price, I think it's like $15, and kids under 12 are free. I'm going to look this up just to make sure I'm right, but you can't get... You can't for the money. You can't get the amount of show that you get over at the Springfield Sportsman Show. It's absolute value. Yeah. So Friday, the 23rd, it's 12 to 8, 9 to 7 on Saturday, and then 10 to 5 on Sunday. And actually Sunday evening, I'm heading over to my folks to have dinner with them for my father's birthday. Admission is $15 for adults. 6 to 12 is $5. Kids under 6 are free. So, I mean, like, You cannot go wrong. Let's take a look at exhibitors. Did they list everybody here? I'll find the whole list and we can talk about that stuff. But and like I said, a big part of this expo for us is going to be trying to get people fired up about the 2024 multi-species scavenger hunt, which folks are still registering, and it's going to be a blast. I've had a lot of folks ask a bunch of questions, which is awesome. DM me, let me know what you want to know about, and I will gladly fill you guys in on all the details if you have any questions, or refer you to where in the rules that could be explained for you if that's the case. Sometimes that's what it is. Folks just need to read the rules to get the full scope, but it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're gonna have ourselves a good time. Last expo, Shawn, what's your schedule look like for expo for the Sportsman Show weekend? Are you gonna be popping in over at all, or?
Yeah, I already set most of it aside. Thursday, I can help out with the setup if need be. Friday, just waiting on a practice time. Saturday should be good to go, whole day, and then and then Sunday, looks like I'm just waiting on a schedule. Actually, Saturday, I'm going to be honest, Saturday and Sunday waiting on scheduled games. That's it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
I am going to do another giveaway with the email list. And what's good is everybody who's already on our emailing list, you're already entered. I'm just going to pick a name at random from the email list. But we're going to try to get more folks signing up. And I have, we have a little bit of an announcement coming in a couple of episodes regarding hooks at hoodlums. But I have just came in yesterday a package of some really, really great hook set hoodlum stuff. I know there's a few hats in there. I think a bunch of stickers. There might be some shirts in there as well. I got to go through and check and see what we've got. But we got prizes from Hooks at Hoodlums. We got prizes from A-Bay Lure Lab. I actually have some leftover stuff from Robusto. I parted out a bunch of these prizes. So I've got some Robusto baits that we're going to be giving away as well. What else? Oh, we have another Heat Your Meat package with the whole the world tour all right in there too. So we're going to be giving away some prizes as well. I think this is going to be really good. And I believe, what do we have here? Oh, Pat is chiming in. It's just exactly what I was looking for. Matt and I are planning on coming up Sunday as long as nothing happens with work or family. Every time we try to go up there, Pat, I totally understand, dude. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. But it should be a good weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, psyched.
How do you guys feel about Taylor Swift winning the Super Bowl?
Yay, sports. Yay, team. Go sports.
That is the most Bobby roast beef thing Shawn the Fisherman has ever said. Yep. That right there. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, I
was rooting for the 49ers so hard just because I didn't want her to be down on the field.
So
anything.
I'm going to go ahead and say this, right? I had a trivia question this last week that came up, and it was, although she's dating Travis Kelce, which Kelce is it?
Travis.
Yeah. Though she's dating Travis Kelce from the Chiefs, in the past, Taylor Swift has admitted to being a fan of which NFL franchise? Take a guess, guys.
I know what it is. I'm not going to.
All right. Oh, that's right. No, didn't we do this question?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you did.
Go ahead, Joe.
I would say the Patriots because she has a house in Rhode Island.
She has a house in Rhode Island. That would make sense. If I was guessing, and again, this being a fan of this team is a huge character flaw. I was thinking the Cowboys because
that was going to be my second choice.
America's team. You know what I mean?
Right.
She strikes me like the type of person that has a level of integrity as a Yankee fan. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But and I know I'm pissing people off, and I'm doing this intentionally, guys. I don't give a fuck about sports. But I will say this. Equally as large a character flaw, it came out that she's an Eagles fan originally. Which, again, massive character flaw. I was like, really? And I think Shawn.
Kelsey's brother. Kelsey's brother's on the Eagles.
Yeah, Jason. Yep.
The plot thickens.
But I think there was when on Friday's game, when I asked that question, somebody buzzed in and they said Tennessee, they said the Titans, which would make sense. You know what I mean? Like, she's a Tennessee
Nashville and
gal
shit,
originally. Yeah, of course. And I'm like, I didn't even think of that. That was really good. So yeah, we learned something this week at trivia. You know, we learned
We're learning.
It's fun. It's fun. I'm stoked though. I have like I said, I have a crazy week. I have an event out of town on Thursday, so setup is going to be like, get in there as early as possible, do as much damage as humanly possible, get things ready. We are going to be recording on site, and we're actually going to record the episode right in the booth like we did last year, just to make things nice and easy. I am going to bring my wireless hotspot though, so that we can, if we need to stream or anything like that, we have the ability to. That should be pretty good. But I think we're going to go ahead and. Is there anything that I'm missing in this segment? No, I think we're pretty good.
I think we got it.
Yeah, I think we kind of nailed it. Guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a short break. When we get back, we're going to hear from from the FTG files. We have a call from up north, and we're going to hear about that. Weigh in a little bit as well in terms of ice fishing. And then in Gear of the Week, I am going to talk about one of my favorite baits from Japan. And I got my hands on some. I got real lucky in Columbus, actually. We're going to talk about those, why I like them so much. We will see you guys in a bit. Don't go too far. We got much more good Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up right after this. Jigs and Bigs wants to take a moment to say thank you to our partners for helping us continue to push the limits of our fishing adventures and bring you amazing long-form podcast content. We need to thank Dark Horse Tackle, Omnia Fishing, A-Bay Lure, The Bay House, and The Ship Motel. We can't forget about Three Bells Outfitters, Torres Sunglasses, and of course, Reaction Tackle. Be sure to check the description of this podcast for any associated affiliate links or promo codes they've generously provided our listening audience. Again, we cannot thank our partners enough for their support. Please consider supporting them and supporting the show in the same process. Thanks. Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one with the impeccable taste in fishing podcasts. Bobby Roast Beef here with a little call to action for all Jigs and Bigs listeners. We're opening up our hotline to you. Now you can call us to sound off about almost anything at 413-324-8519. Want to submit someone for our FTG segment? Call us at 413-324-8519. Care to maybe suggest a topic for Just the Tip or Bait of the Week? Call us at 413-324-8519. Maybe you just want to give us or anyone else a little shout out on the show, or you want to suggest a guest for the beef seat. You guessed it. Call us at 413-324-8519. The Jigs and Bigs hotline is there for you to leave a message with us 24/7. Just call 413-324-8519. Also, you can check that number in the notes of this podcast. Guys, Bobby Roast Beef back here, Columbus Fishing Expo. It's Jigs and Bigs. We're here live recording at the Dark Horse Tackle booth here at the Columbus Fishing Expo. It's awesome. I got James with us. James, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm doing okay. We're gonna get to know James a little bit, and we're gonna spin the wheel and see if he's gonna be a lucky winner and get some big savings or some really cool prizes. We'll figure all that out. But James, tell me a little bit about how you got into fishing, where the area of the country that you fish, are you local, and what species you like to target the most?
I got started fishing with my grandpa when I was younger, and we always hit like local ponds and stuff, fish for bass. Probably my favorite way to fish bass is probably topwater.
Oh, it's the best. The most rewarding, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. I love it. So what we're really asking folks about is like really two stories. We're looking for that story that maybe you meet somebody at an event like a wedding or something, and they're like, oh, I heard you fish. Like, what's that story you're going to lead with and say, oh, you got to hear about this one time? And then on the other side, we want to know that biggest, like when it all just went to shit. Like the worst epic fail. So go ahead. You can give them to me in any order that you want.
It's probably when I was fishing with my close buddy from high school. His dad had a 12-foot John boat, and we took it out on, it's called Ross Lake, down where I'm from. The day started out pretty good. We caught a few bass, and then he was pulling up to the dock, and he missed his grab on the dock and actually fell in.
Oh, that's so good, man.
Yeah.
How cold was it?
It was like spring, so it wasn't too bad.
Not too bad. It was on the way up. That's good. That's good. That's awesome, man. That's rough, dude. That's real rough.
But
all right.
At the same time, it was pretty funny watching him try to get out. So
it's the best. I got a story that's kind of similar. I just got my first kayak, and I was stoked to be out there fishing with my buddy. And he was shopping around for a kayak, but hadn't pulled the trigger yet. So we're fishing this spot that we call Devil's Swamp, and it is just it's just a mud puddle with some water on top, and so many giant pickerel. It's just it's ridiculous. So we're trying to catch him. He's like, I'll bet you if we could just get off the bank, we could find him. I was like, I got my kayak on the roof. Let's go ahead and send it. And I had the bow too far up, grabbing too much of the bank. And I hadn't launched the boat like this ever. And I look at him, I was like, there's no real graceful way to do this. And I'm a giant, degenerate human being. So I go to sit on this boat, and of course it's just rocking because it's all balanced on the keel. And it dumps me into like 2 foot of water and like 3 feet of muck. My phone in my pocket, everything was the worst. And of course, the line was, there's no real graceful way to do this. And he still to this day mentions that shit, and it drives me bananas. But yeah, funny is definitely it. All right, guys, we will see you in our next interview segment with who knows who's going to be up in the beef seat, talking to us, sharing some fishing stories. But we're going to be right back. We're going to spin this wheel and see what James gets for a discount or some fantastic prizes. Don't go too far. Alrighty, guys, FTG for this week. I got a call this week from a good close friend of the show who's just been freaking grinding with the expos this year. He's been helping out with eBay quite a bit. We're hearing from Binya. Now, Binya, I'm going to let him go into full detail, but Binya was on a bit of a soapbox, and I can't say that I disagree. I agree with him 100%. Let's go ahead. Let's see what Binya has to say. We'll weigh in on the other end.
Hey guys, Binya here with an FTG session. I've been doing a lot of looking online on my Facebook groups for ice conditions, things like that, and I want to submit the asshole that always seems to answer that there's 8 inches of ice and people are driving side-by-sides when clearly that's not the case. Those assholes are going to get someone killed that takes them seriously when they're really just joking and trying to be funny. Also, I want to submit the guys who constantly ask on Facebook how many inches of ice are on a particular body of water consistently, even after being told that there isn't any ice or there's open water. Just wanted to submit that, guys, because I've been seeing it a lot. It's been annoying me, and I thought it might work out for the show. Thanks, guys.
I can see where that gets obnoxious, man. You know, it's like that in any kind of Facebook group where you'll be, in a group regularly, and then you'll see folks asking the same question, and they never search or anything like that, or it just kind of gets under your skin. You're like, come on. Even if, like, the rules of that group are, hey, before you ask a question, maybe search and see if it's been covered. God, that's obnoxious. The point that he makes, though, about people being funny and then potentially like risking somebody's lives, that's serious. Because, you never know. People are, I say this a lot. and I don't think people really take me seriously when I say it, but people are way more dumb than you realize they are. You know, like there are signs on, silica packets that say "do not eat." Right? You know what I mean? Like they're there for a reason. Yeah. People are stupid. So like, if you say something and you're like, "Oh yeah, there's like 25 inches thick, you can drive your truck right on it," and then like some asshole goes and does it, number one, like you're gonna just feel like an asshole, and if you don't, you probably need to be checked out, like on a psychological level, or on the other hand, something really terrible could freaking happen to somebody, and really like it could get really bad. So like I definitely see where he could get frustrated for sure. And there are some people that just like to fucking, I'd like to say hear themselves talk, but I guess it's the typing equivalent of that.
Yeah, man, I think we kind of had a conversation about this recently, Bobby. I think down there.
Yep.
About just like how fucking cancerous these Facebook pages are these days.
Oh yeah, I mean Facebook as a platform is just disgusting.
I mean, yeah, Facebook alone, but like, granted, like, there's nothing wrong with somebody who wants to go fish. It's an innocent question. Be like, hey guys, has anyone been on the ice just trying to gauge like where it's at? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then everyone shits on them. Like, well, go out there and fucking check, blah, 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 this, that. It's like, guys just trying to figure out if it's worth going to check. You know what I mean?
And it's also like, it's one thing to jump up there and genuinely say like, so where am I going to go? You know what I mean? Like where has there been decent ice? Where I'm looking for. I get that. I'm assuming, and maybe I'm projecting a bit much. And Biddy's not in here. I wish he was. He could chime right in. But when folks are asking questions about, like, sometimes you'll see the same people ask the same stupid question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's more what he's speaking to. Because there are folks that are just like, they genuinely, they're like, oh, so, hey, how's New Hampshire? Oh, too close to the coast and it's going to be dog shit. Go, further west and you'll be okay. Oh, Vermont's great, something like that. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Like I have a dude from, I think he's from Jersey. He used to pop in at the shop every once. So he used to come up here to ice fish because he used to be from this area or whatever. And he, I think it's from Jersey, but he pops into my Facebook messages every year, like, hey, just looking for that yearly ice report. And I like, because he goes directly with me and I'll be like, hey, like last year, I was like, dude, don't even fucking bother taking the trip up. And this year, he actually, a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I see people up north. I was like, but, I was like, I haven't been out, but just make sure you do your research before you make your trip,
Yep.
But it's the ice, dude, the ice fishing crowd, the ice fishing Facebook pages have just been fucking, I got out of all of them. I couldn't even handle it. Couldn't even handle it.
I mean, I would be a mess if that were my thing. You know what I mean? Like if I looked forward to every year just ice fishing, if that was my thing and I could get completely shafted because of the weather, you know what I mean? Like it could just be like, it could be a couple of years before I'm able to actually get out there. I can understand why some of the ice fishing crowd are salty, but there's another thing about the ice fishing like community that I can't wrap my head around. And it has to do with a picture that we had seen on social media recently. And Joe, I sent this to you. Yeah. And it was the, I don't know what the proper term is for that other than like a blood board.
Yeah. And it sucks because, the person it came from, we both, adore.
Respect,
we really love this person. And there is no ill, intent behind
Definitely
it. It's
not.
just, that's just a weird thing with the ice fishing crowd. They just don't see I guess they don't see it through the same eyes as we do somehow. And I don't understand that.
Yeah, I feel like either they're not comprehending conservation or they somehow think that because it's ice fishing, it somehow doesn't apply.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But and the wacky thing is they'll be the first ones to bitch about like, oh, the fucking fishing sucks this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no shit.
It's like, well, you just depleted.
You got 12 fucking 5-pound bass over there in the trash can. What the fuck do you expect was going to happen?
Yeah, and that's going to catch up, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is irritating. I remember.
It really grinds my gears, guys. It really grinds my gears.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, it does. It's just ridiculous. You get some folks that are just nuts when it comes to ice fishing, you know, and then the community, you see it like, and this is a sport, ice fishing, where CPR makes even more sense than, you know, even in big boats. You know, I mean, it's like you put the board on the ice, you measure the fish, it goes back in the hole. You know,
Bobby, I'm going to go even one further, and you can edit this out if you don't like it.
Oh, it's okay.
But whoever's listening to the show, if you ice fish and you go to these kill derbies, or if you do it yourself, explain it. I would love, whether it's on the Jigs Bigs fucking page, you know, you can reach out to me on Instagram, whatever. I want to hear your explanation. I want to hear it through your mouth.
Yeah, that's actually reasonable.
I want to know. Let's have a healthy conversation about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because I just don't see it. There's no reason why. And here's the thing. I did an extremely large catch photo release ice fishing derby.
Yep.
So don't say it can't be done.
Oh, it definitely can be done.
Don't say it can't be done. So let's figure out what is the benefit behind hanging, fish, all these large fish that are breeding fish.
Yep.
That is obviously detrimental to the ecosystem within that waterway.
Yeah.
Explain to me why you don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, because maybe there is something that we're missing.
Maybe there is.
You know,
maybe there is.
Maybe there's just some glaring detail, and we're just like, oh, hang on.
Those fish are mythical. They're unicorns.
Oh, they're sterile. Those ones were sterile.
Bobby, let's knock off a couple of excuses in your voice that you just used.
Okay.
All right, I'm sending you messages now. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble.
Perfect.
I can't wait.
All right, I'll stand by.
I can't wait.
Oh, this is gonna be good. And in between, I'm gonna put a little bit of a highlight in there too.
Yeah, you got to give me a second. I'm a slow typer. All right, here we go.
It's okay. Oh,
but that's the way we've always done it. Oh God.
Number 2.
What are you, a fucking liberal?
Gold. Both gold so far.
Oh God.
Now, this is pertaining to anything other than a bass.
Anything other than a bass?
They're just trash fish.
And then finally,
let's see. What's this one going to be? I love technology. I fucking love technology. What's this one going to be?
That's what they get. They all had bigger dicks than mine. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous, man. Yeah, so I guess that's like the multiple choice answer. Like when you ask that question, like what they're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be one of those options. But like,
because I'm not going to accept any other answer.
I am genuinely curious. Like, maybe I'm missing something, but like it just logistically, it doesn't make any sense to me. But like, and it's one of those things where you would just assume that they would go away, like the kill derbies, but they just they don't, or they haven't yet.
No.
Maybe next year will be the year. You know. But,
yeah, let's hope. But I'm not going to hold my breath.
No, absolutely. Let's go ahead, guys. Let's get nerdy. We'll talk a little tackle.
Okay, gearheads, it's time to talk tools. Jigs and Bigs gear of the week.
Alrighty, dudes. So I had, I discovered this bait about a year ago, actually. It was last March. And it was when I was on Chickamauga with Caleb Bell. And we had really crazy water conditions. We were pretty much just like hunting around for the clearest water that we could find. We could get them to bite as long as we could hit them in the head with something. And it was all about just annoying, like we were throwing rattle traps, chatterbaits, anything loud and obnoxious to kind of just get them to dial in to something. And, he was like, oh, hey, you got to try this. And he hands me this spinning combo. And it's got this small 1/8 ounce little chatterbait on it. And it's from Jackal. It's called the Dera Break. DERA, break, BREAK. And it's like, I'll tell you, it has the reaction time of like a Picasso shock blade or a jackhammer. Like, you start cranking that wheel and it is that reel and it is already like just vibrating like crazy. And it's got a really interesting design. Like there's this, like a tie that comes off of the jig head that's in this kind of funny like S sort of curve. That's what the blade connects to. And so it does have this direct sort of contact. And it's a higher frequency because of the smaller blade, obviously, but it just hums and it gets just chomped. Well, like Joe had mentioned earlier, we were neighbors at the Dark Horse Tackle booth at the Columbus Expo. We were neighbors with a JDM retailer out of, I think, Michigan. And over there, I was like, I just got to see. Like, I saw a bunch of Jackal stuff, but I didn't see the Dare Breaks right away. And I asked him, and he was like, oh, yeah, I got a bunch right here. Not only did he have a bunch, he had the ones I was looking for in the colors and the weights. I recently had to order a bunch off of Digitaka that were 3/16 of an ounce, which is about the top end of my BFS combo. Just about. Maybe I could get away throwing a quarter. But I had picked up a few of those just because, hey, I'd rather have some of them than none of them. You know what I mean? And he had them in the sizes I was looking for and these colors, which is out of this world. I got to tell you, the JDM world for tackle is mind-blowing. Some of the stuff that they've got out there, some really, really innovative new ways to kind of get these fish dialed into what you're throwing, to capture their attention. And exactly like everybody says,
show them something different.
And I even picked up a little treat over there, but I'm really looking forward to this this bait this spring specifically. I feel like I've thrown the Mini Max before. I feel like this is a whole other ballgame than the Mini Max. The Mini Max is a good, more finessey chatterbait, but this is a truly finesse bladed jig. Like, it just hits on a whole other level. I like to actually use as a trailer. I like to use like the really small flukes, like crappie style flukes. Yeah. It's just it's absolutely badass. Great, obviously, for dirty water. Anytime that this is also really nice, real shallow too. And it's badass. You can throw it on a spinning combo with no problem. Throw it on your BFS combo too. And just have at it. So the Dare Break, if you could find them. It ain't a Mini Max. Trust me. It's you owe it to yourself to try one out and see what's up.
That booth was busy.
It was. There was
especially with the younger crowd, man. That old school crowd. The whole JDM market's fairly new. But I am kicking myself in the ass, Bobby, because there was that one thing there I told you I was going to buy a couple of, and I fucking forgot. I don't know if you remember.
Was it it was a wire bait, right, with all the blades?
No, it was. They had the Vision 110 fine art collection.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was looking at some of those. The fine art.
And I wanted to get a couple. I wasn't even going to use them. Dude, you know what I mean? I was just gonna, and I fucking forgot.
They were priced exactly this. Well, I have his information.
Perfect. I'm going to have to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'd like to have him on the show. And I know I'm going to fuck up his name, so that's why I'm not saying it right now. I'd love to have him on the show. I really would.
They had, it was really cool to. It's one thing to see those Japanese baits like online.
Yep.
But to see all that, I felt like, Shawn, you be in the military, you've traveled all over the place, but it was kind of like I felt like I was in a shop in Japan. You know, everything was in Japanese. It was really cool. Cool. It was really cool. Yeah.
There was some really, really, really cool stuff over there. Obviously, there was a lot as far as like if you were into bigger swim baits, glides and stuff, like he had quite a big selection there. But also in conventional sizes, there was no shortage of great, great stuff.
Yeah.
And, that's one thing that I did notice about that I haven't seen so far at any of the other expos that I've been to is much in terms of JDM, but also like the modified, like the really boutique parts. Like what was that one big high speed spool?
Yeah.
I've seen them on Instagram a bunch.
Yeah. The cool thing that he was killing is not only was I'm sure you've heard of those, Shawn, the high speed bearings, the high speed spool, I think is the company or whatever.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is he was selling reels with his bearings installed
already
into
modded.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And they were actually, to tell you the truth, they were actually well priced.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was impressive. I was like, this is slick.
There was a lot of cool booths like that.
Yeah.
Like just like you see the gear, you see the rods, the baits, the reels, but very rarely do you see modification parts, aftermarket parts for your rods, for your reels, for your baits. It's to enhance them essentially.
And there is certainly like a niche, I think, when it comes to,
of course,
modified gear or imported gear or anything that's a little bit different. Zach chimes in right here with regarding high speed spools. I've got high speed spool on all my reels except for my BFS. Interesting.
We'll have to talk to Zach. I want to see. I unfortunately I walked by it a couple times. I mean, God, Bobby, we were busy as shit the whole time.
That was
we really didn't walk around all that much.
Not really, no.
And I kind of walked by it a couple times, but I didn't give it the time I should have to look at it.
Yeah,
I kind of wish I had, but hey, that's what next year's for.
Although I got to tell you, also there was one other thing that Joe was a very bad influence for. I was so close to buying a Shimano X Pride. If that, because I was actually looking at swapping out my jerkbait and topwater combo, and I was like, well, why not?
Yeah.
But luckily for my wallet, they just didn't have what I was looking for there. So I was, that's all good. We'll figure it out.
I think I finally made. I know I talked about like I broke 3 rods. I wanted to try something new. I think I finally made that decision. I'll talk to you guys offline, but I'm not gonna let the crowd know yet because I'll do a gear of the week once I get it.
There you go. I'm curious. Did we speak with the proprietor of these rods?
No.
Oh, now I'm interested.
I didn't. So we won't name names.
Yep.
I'll talk to you offline because the company was awesome.
Yep.
I needed more info.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is,
Yep. They obviously had a stellar product. It was the lack of obviously us in the fishing community, especially in the tournament community, we really rely on people's input who have used stuff and
it goes a long way.
Yeah. And I not to say I'm never going to. It was too quick for me to pull the trigger right there and then.
No, that's reasonable. That's definitely reasonable.
Yeah. So, Zach.
Yeah, Zach's already jumping in with it.
Yeah, he knows.
Nice.
Yeah, but
freaking awesome, dude. That's huge. That is freaking huge. Well, I think that about sums it up for this segment. Guys, we're going to take a short break. We'll get back. What we've got planned next is a great interview segment with Taylor from Fish or Die Bait Company. Fish or Die is truly, truly innovating. What you're thinking of is like regular soft plastics. This is out of the box thinking, and I'm actually hoping for myself, and I'm sure Joe is as well, that these are going to perform quite a bit.
Yeah.
They are some of the. There's a lot of buzz going on with Fish or Die right now. And I'm kind of glad we got Taylor in this seat when we did, because this is a great, great time. So we'll be back with him after this short break. Then we're going to wrap things up. We will see you guys with more Jigs and Bigs right after this. Jigs and Bigs is your favorite fishing podcast, right? Why not show the world how much you love the show while directly supporting us? We have men's and ladies' shirts, hoodies, and a variety of hats. We even have a waterproof outdoor Bluetooth speaker so you can listen to your favorite podcast while out on the water if you like. Check out jigsandbigs.com/shop to visit the store and gear yourself up. If you really can't get enough of this show, consider becoming a jighead and joining our Patreon. It's a subscription that gives you exclusive access to recording sessions that allow you to engage with us as we record the show. We also have some exclusive content there just for our jig heads and even have some special promo codes. Space is limited, so join now at jigsandbigs.com. Finally, if you're local to our area in Western Massachusetts, consider checking out the Western Mass Fishing Report, posted weekly at northeastwildwoman.com. We have amazing contributors providing great content and info for local conditions and what's been going on and working recently. Jigs and Bigs, so much more than just two lightly roasted hippies trapped in the 90s arguing on the internet about fishing. What up, guys? Bobby Roast Beef Jigs and Bigs here. You guys are watching on YouTube, which is crazy, right? I hope you enjoy this. This is something new that we're kicking off. Stories from the beef seat. So what we're doing here is we're recording the interview process with our guests, and what we're doing is we're opening that up to our jig heads that are over at our Patreon to jump in and ask any questions if they've got them. And I am joined right now. I've got, of course, who the fuck is Joe Brown in the house, but I've also got Taylor Magditch from Fish or Die Bait Company with us. We're going to have a great conversation. I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely. This is going to be a lot of fun. So think of this right here as like the green room right here. Like this is something that's a little extra for YouTube right now. And then we'll go ahead and start like the proper interview in just a bit. So my plan is to take this and hold it for a week or two, maybe even 3 weeks until after the podcast drops with you in it, Taylor. So that way we get a second sort of boost from a whole different kind of audience later. Eventually, this should form like a nice cycle where, maybe we'll be lucky enough to actually drive people to the podcast to get to the interview first. But by putting this little extra Easter egg up front, it'll get eyes on it as well. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I hope I'm figuring this shit out. What am I? I'm just an old stoner. I don't know what the hell's happening. So yeah, how was? Let's talk about our evening so far. This will be a little bit of our extra because it's a Saturday night. It's a big night. You know what I mean? Here we are, 3 dudes, dude pride all day, and we'll talk about that later. But let me share my experience with you. My wife and I shared a very interesting, unexpected anniversary today. Her birthday is Tuesday, so I took her out tonight for some drinks and appetizers at this really great bar in the Berkshires in Massachusetts called Moon Cloud. All they do is like craft cocktails with like crazy selections of spirits and charcuterie. That's it. And they do it like so well. It's so good. So I take her there. It's like her favorite place. I don't know if you guys can hear this. I sound like dog shit.
You sound beautiful.
I appreciate that.
I told Joe this in person. Your mic voice is unbelievable.
I am so congested right now. It is ridiculous. So like we're on a drive out there and I'm just like, we're hitting the mountains and the pressure going up and down these hills is just, it's like crazy. It's like it releases, then it builds back up and it's just nuts. So have you guys ever seen one of these? It's a vapor inhaler from Vicks.
No.
It's like you open it up and it's this little like finger and like you just go and you just take a hit of it, and it's that was disgusting, by the way.
Spray up there?
No, it's almost like Vicks Vapor Rub, but like targeted directly in your nostril. And it gives you like a few moments of like just clarity, and then it all comes back. So you may see me hit this a few times during the interview, but that's not what we're talking about. Because of that, that stop to pick one of those up, I also picked up some Sudafed, right? My wife is a nurse, and she goes, hey, you probably shouldn't be drinking if you're taking Sudafed. That's like not a good combination. And I said, okay, cool. So I drank mocktails, which was fine. I don't care about that. That's no problem. Because again, like I said, I live on the greener side of life anyway. So I'm, still enjoying myself. Everything's great. My wife indulges. Now, we're at an age, Taylor. You seem like you're much, much younger than I am. Maybe even a few years younger than Joe. But when you guys get to be my age, you're going to realize that there's a certain number of drinks you can have before it's going to be a really bad day. Like just stay at, where it's like it's going to be bad. And for my wife, that's 2. Right? 2, we're talking cocktails, like glasses of liquor. You know what I'm saying? Like real fucking men's drinks. You know what I'm saying? And this is the shit that she drinks. And I drink with her. And she is like, screw it, I'm going to have a third. So I knew that she was hammered. But I'm driving back. I've been drinking mocktails. I've been drinking ginger beer all night, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. We decided to take an alternate route up over a different section of mountains on our way back home, and just in time to make it here. And she's like, you know what? I should have peed at the bar. And I'm like, you know what?
You goddamn right you should have.
Now, here's an interesting story. 20 years ago, almost to the day, she was coming home from celebrating her birthday party with her best friend, and her best friend needed to pee on the highway. So she goes and decides, okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go and, pull over here, and she can do her thing. And then she's like, well, we're here. I might as well pee too. She got pulled over. Well, she was pulled over. A cop rolled up and then gave her a bunch of shit about it.
Trooper?
Yeah, Mass State Trooper. Yep.
Of course.
And she's a rule follower. Like, she doesn't do any. She's got a crystal clean record, but the judge wanted to prove a point. She got her first DUI. So today on the drive home, she's like, holy shit. I was like, yeah, where's the nearest Cumberland Farms? We're on the way. I look and I'm asking Siri, everything's cool. It was like 15, 20 minutes out of our way. So I was like, all right, cool. She's like, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. 3 minutes, gentlemen. 3 minutes. And she's like, you better pull over right the fuck now. I go, okay, we're in the middle of nowhere. I'm not worried about this at all. I pull over. She does the Shawn Dominic trick where he takes his, what do you call it? His doors on either side to make a little like partial partition, if you will. And she's doing her business. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Car comes up behind us, drives right past her. She realizes at this point that it's like deja vu 20 years later. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Anyway, she had a great birthday, and she's taking my daughter to go see a friend of hers in South Carolina, so they're going to be gone all next week. So, it was good. So, what about your evenings? What did you guys do?
So I guess I'll go first, and because I know Taylor probably just poured baits all night, but
real exciting stuff.
So my sister came and took the kids because for like a family birthday party, and I'm like such an introvert and don't really interact with my family that I was like, yeah, you can take the kids. And literally the second after she walked out the door with all the kids, me and the wife were like, oh fuck, let's get dressed and go hit the local bar.
Yep.
Like this is our chance. So we did that. I went and hit the local bar, played some Keno, had a few drinks. My buddy Dan Griffin, who fishes ABA with me, that I talk about on the show here and there, him and his wife met us there, and we just had a quick good time. And I came back, got back, made sure I got back to the podcast. So,
friggin' A,
nice and easy. You know what I mean?
What were you drinking?
I was drinking bourbon mules.
That's freaking classy.
Yeah,
dude.
So some Redemption and a fucking ginger beer and a little lime.
There you go. Damn.
Yeah. Now, I drink that because like I feel like in my older age, if I drink a ton of beer, I'm just gonna get fatter. So I feel like I'm less of an alcoholic and less fat if I drink those.
It makes sense.
Yeah. No. I completely can get behind that. How about you, Taylor? How was your Saturday night so far?
Kind of how Joe already predicted. That's pretty much all I did. I woke up early, started cranking out orders. We got another repeat order from a retailer here in PA. So
nice.
Working on that. Practice with my kid a little bit. We got a wrestling tournament tomorrow morning, so we'll be up early for that.
Yep. School sports, man, it's crazy.
All day, pretty much just doing the same damn thing.
That's not, though, considering the stuff that you've got going on with like Tackle Warehouse and everything, it's probably a good idea. Pour as many as you can, because I got a feeling they're going to sell the fuck out everywhere. I really do.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Fucking gnarly, dude. I put out a video today about it, and like just like giving my like no bullshit assessment of it, and just like, because when I was down in Harrisburg with Taylor, he kind of told me like the no bullshit like story of it, and it's literally just like him, his wife, and his 3 boys that run Fish or Die. They do it right there at the house. They pour them, they mold them, they package them right there, and like for such a small like family company to be approached by a retailer like Tackle Warehouse for their product, like that's just insane. Like it's just such a huge momentous occasion. Basically,
it really is.
Yeah, it was wild, and the craziest thing about it is that they reached out to me. So I was like, I texted Joe. I'm like still in disbelief about the entire thing, because Tackle Warehouse, that's like the pinnacle essentially of all
the retailer. That's the retailer. Like they are on top of Cabela's, Bass Pro. Like Tackle Warehouse is the fishing retailer now. You know what I mean? And just there's so many companies out there that probably dream of that moment happening to them, and just for that to happen to you is just absolutely insane.
And you know what I thought when I was designing the Ajax, that Goby that's been getting a lot of traction, I thought that was going to like turn some heads, and like maybe eventually it'll get to Tackle Warehouse and it'll pique their interest, and whatever. But they ended up getting, I think it was like 6 or 7 of our molds. So I was like,
that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you, Joe, that Warbird is killer. I think that's
I can't wait to put that in the back of a chatterbait or to nose hook that thing, because I'm a nose hook fluke guy. I told Bobby about that a few years ago. He's seen me use it in person,
dude. It works.
I fucking love doing it, and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
That's freaking damn nuts, dude. It is crazy. You know what? So let's go ahead and do this. We'll start up with the interview formally, and we'll let it rip. We'll go ahead. We'll do that. So I'm going to do a little countdown here for editing. Just say it, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started. We're rolling.
Sure.
In 3, 2. Alrighty, guys, Bobby Roast Beef here, back with it. We got a guest in the beef seat this week. We have none other than Taylor Magditch, owner and proprietor of Fish or Die Bait Company, which, if you've been looking at fishing social media, I would say in the last couple of weeks, really since the end of January, this has shown up with a couple of his baits specifically getting a ton of attention. And we have Who the Fuck is Joe Brown with us. He is, of course, newly on working with Fish or Die as a pro staff or a sponsor, really. And Joe introduced me to these baits. And Taylor, I gotta say, dude, you're doing some real innovative stuff with plastics. Really, really innovative stuff.
Yeah, appreciate that, man.
Yeah, it's one of the things. It was funny. Joe, we came back from the Columbus show, and while we were there, obviously he had just come from the show in Harrisburg. But being in the booth, he was showing off some baits. He gave me a pack of the Ajax because he knows that I love that finessey swim bait style. But I've never seen anything like that prior to that specific bait. The positioning of the tail. Mm-hmm. Where it seems like it's inverse. Can you kind of let's start there. Let's talk about the Ajax. Like, what is it about that bait that you looked into? Because not only that, the mold is unbelievably high detailed. It really is crazy.
Yeah. So I wanted to tap into that market because it's so huge, especially near me. So I'm in Lehigh Valley area, PA. Fishing is mediocre. So we all, we travel up north to New York and whatnot. So we gained traction up there. And I had the design idea, and with that tail, I just wanted it to catch the eye of anything nearby when you're not moving it. Because huge right now, St. Lawrence up there in the river, currents kicking. And if you're not moving that bait whatsoever, that tail is going to be inverted. I should have one right here, actually. So that way, even if you're not moving it, that tail is still going to be kicking. It's still going to get some. Yeah. Let's see here if we could do it here.
Oh yeah. And it's super light where the plastic meets that. Like any kind of motion in the water at all is going to have that thing just kind of twitching. But even the other fins, the pectoral fins, are unbelievably highly detailed.
Oh yeah.
And now this is what I'm really curious about. What is we'll know from the bait maker's mouth, what's your ideal way to rig that? So as I mentioned on average or aggressively anglers post, I like that core tackle. I like that tush swim bait. That's killer, but easiest and most efficient, in my opinion, is probably just a straight ball head jig. Yeah.
Very simple and super, super effective. You're just dragging it slow like a tube.
Yep.
You can do those quick hops. And like I said, you're going to get hit on the fall a lot. I don't know if you've seen that underwater video, but that
I have.
The thumping of the tail on the way down.
Yep. And it pumps.
It's killer. It's killer.
It's, sometimes that's what you need. I mean, especially like sometimes you're fishing just like deep water. That fall, like getting some attention is huge. And that's got enough where it's actually pretty aggressive. Like it really is. That video does a lot of justice for it. Let's kind of start back at the beginning. Like, I'm a sucker for an origin story. I can tell me about how you got into fishing, like where it got into your life, but also where you got into bait making and sort of how you kind of honed your craft to the point to where we are right now.
Yeah. So without getting into crazy detail, some shit went down at work that left a horrendous taste in my mouth. And I came home and spoke with my wife, and we kind of went over our options as far as, plan B, C, D.
Yep.
And I've been an outdoorsman since I was a young kid. And fishing has always been a passion of mine. So I really just looked at it from like a business standpoint. What would be easier in a sense if I needed to leave entering the hunting industry or the fishing.
Oh, okay.
And I figured fishing would be a tad easier. Whether I was wrong or not, I don't know. But we decided to go all in, legitimately pulled all my money out from the pension and started it. And literally, like, you'll see me post. I keep posting like hashtag burn the ships. Oh, and that's where we're at. I mean, it's all or nothing at this point. So we're grinding.
That's freaking wild. I'm looking at some of the notes that you put in here, and you put current LEO, hate it, LOL. Tell me about that. Like, what is it that you hate about being in that seat? I definitely can relate.
So, I don't think I can, Bobby.
Really? That bad? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No. I can respect that.
Yeah, only because I know people are watching this, and that'll just create a whole
I respect that, because Taylor and I had conversations about, like, my career, and it's just kind of, I think it's just a cultural and generational change within our society right now that kind of like really like hinders what at one point was a true passion to many people that has kind of died off, of late in the last couple of years.
Oh yeah.
So
what I will say is it's a shame, because like you said, Joe, it's a passion, and like anything I do and anything I've ever done in my entire life, I'm like full throttle. Like when I became a cop, I was diehard. I was that, fucking loser wearing blue line, everything, everywhere I went, St. Michael this, St. Michael that.
We know a couple guys like that.
Yeah. and I would just, I had a great group of guys on nights. We would just hammer the streets. We had fun. And I don't want listeners to think like I did anything wrong on that end. The bad taste was from within.
Gotcha.
Within. So,
a lot of politics.
Oh yeah,
politics.
Dude,
I'm sure it's the same. That's what I deal with. Yeah. So I'm sure it's the same.
Yeah. So
it's freaking bananas. But on the flip side of things, you're also celebrating a huge announcement with the announcement that now Fish or Die baits are available at Tackle Warehouse, which is a giant accomplishment. I mean, for any custom small batch bait maker to get to that point where your stuff is in a major player in the retail game, that's a big deal, and I'm sure from here on out it's only going to grow more and more and more because the more buzz about your unique baits. I think that's just going to kind of help you, and it's probably the way that it goes. What's a typical work week look like for you? If you guys are doing this all in, that's some crazy shit. What's your typical work week, your flow chart look like?
Yeah, so with my regular schedule, 2 years ago, I got moved to days finally. I lied, 3 years ago. So I work 12s, so I'll work 6 in the morning to 6 at night, typical shift. I wake up at 2 a.m. every day. I start cranking out orders, and then I go, the full-time gig, 6 to 6, come home, eat dinner with the wife and kids. And 9 times out of 10, head back down and do some more before bed, and then do it all over again. This is my weekend off. And like we said, at the beginning of the show, I was doing orders all day.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty much nonstop. But like you said, Tackle Warehouse, that's huge. That was obviously a goal of mine, a pinnacle. So we've been in since 2021. I'm super, super proud
That's freaking awesome
of where we're at. So
that's so crazy because there's so many. Even Bobby. We've dealt with so many soft bait companies in the past that have been around for a minute, and for Taylor, for you to be around since 2021 and to already be in Tackle Warehouse, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, it's I see it as just just a quick glimpse of things to come. You know what I mean? It's only going to go up from here.
I hope. Their first order was awesome. Obviously the biggest we've ever gotten. It was a little over 1,600 bags. And I had to get that done. So I'm hand injecting as well.
That's what I'm saying. The workload is just intense.
Yeah. So for people who don't realize, some people say hand injecting if they're using a shooting star as a certain machine.
Yep.
So that's, cranks it has a big drum of plastic and it's just automatic type. I'm legitimately heating everything up hand. So
yeah.
My manufacturer I work with, they're awesome. They've been helping me out, squeezing me in as far as pumping out additional molds for me. Because some of the baits that Tackle Warehouse ordered, I'm legitimately making 1 pack at a time. So it was brutal, but we made it happen. It took us 3 weeks, and we had that order done and kept up with all the other orders coming in as well. But
that's a quick turnaround. That's
insane.
It's like a Chinese sweatshop down in Taylor's fucking house.
Yeah. Well, as we're talking here, she's upstairs scenting and packaging everything.
Yeah.
That other order.
Oh my God. I can't imagine.
Crazy.
Dude, congratulations to you. It's tough to burn the candle at both ends like that and really make it happen. I'm glad things are taking off.
Yeah. Yeah. We're very fortunate. I'm in my 9th year right now. Obviously you do 20 to retire.
Yep.
I would love to get that pension. Realistically, I don't think I'll make it that far. We can vest at 12. I think that right now that's a realistic goal for me, to just struggle these next, 2 years.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'm at the point where I can do this full time. You know, that would be great.
I love also that you said it. You're using your own molds, you know, and you've got molds that are being cranked out. Like, I think, you know, when I said earlier, I said that you were innovative with your plastics. This is not somebody in a garage with a do-it kit. Like, nothing, no shade to those folks that are doing that. Like, there are just some folks that are doing that, and I get it. Like, the recipes, the plastic, and, you know, there's something different. But
that's how I started, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
that's how everyone starts, and it got to the point where, like I said, all in.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to make it into retail. We're not going to make any type of traction or bring any attraction in the industry if it's just going to be the same as somebody down the block. So.
It's innovation, you know.
Taylor, you really got to tell that story that you told me down in Harrisburg of kind of how, you know, the Fisher dye molds came to be, because it was really like enlightening for me, and just like it was just crazy of like the college kids and all that. You got to tell that
for the Warbird,
why. Yep.
Yeah, so Garrett Thompson, he's living the dream right now with JT Kenny down at Okeechobee. He got hired full time, I think, marketing for net bait. So awesome dude. He was a stud for West Virginia University. I had a PA team trail event on Lake Erie. So he was fishing with his partner Ethan. I forget where, but he like left the tournament and then drove to Erie to meet me, and we ended up fishing together. Pouring down rain, it was horrendous. But during that time, when we were riding around, I said, "What don't we have that you would like to see like in a lineup?" Because obviously, like retail, getting in the stores, you want to, at least for me personally, I want to have something in each technique for somebody. So he's like, "Dude, you got to make a soft plastic jerkbait." So flukes are obviously huge. So I came home from that event. I'm like in my personal vehicle. And I'm like sketching out ideas, and I still have the sketch. I can find it. I showed you, right, Joe?
Yep. You showed me. Yep.
So I started sketching. I'm like, this looks really good. So then I went to Northampton Community College, which is where I met my wife. And they have a good engineering program, and they have a 3D printing. It's like one of the biggest in the area, I guess. Unbeknownst to me. So I go there. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I need like this design and this idea brought to life, essentially.
Yep.
And the kid's like, oh yeah, you come back this time, whatever, you know, I'll show you how to do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to learn how to do it. I want to pay you.
You want to have it done.
Yeah. I want it to get done correctly. Yep. I don't want anything to do it. So he's like, oh, okay. So I worked hand in hand with him. This kid, awesome. And he designed it for me. So then I brought that design to my manufacturer. Also not far, hour and a half away, thank God. So I literally went there today to pick up another mold.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So bring it to them, and they put it into their system and make the mold itself in the aluminum. So
that's freaking amazing, dude. Yeah, I mean, it really is amazing. It's nuts. Let's talk about your fishing. You know, as far as what you like to, you know, do you exclusively bass fish? Do you dip into multi-species at all? Do you have any techniques that you are kind of lean more into?
Yeah, so I grew up, like I said, the bass fishing is not good whatsoever near me. I grew up trout fishing.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I grew up inline spinner, just walking creeks with my grandfather.
Oh, yeah.
Just having a blast being out there. Yeah. So then obviously graduated to bass eventually. And nowadays, I got the pontoon for the family. I don't have a bass boat yet, unfortunately. So I hop in with my buddies up in the Poconos, and we hit Harvey's Lake Wallenpaupack. Like I said, we go up to New York. And I'm drop shotting 75% of the time. I have a drop shot rod in my hand. I mean, it works great. It works great for me, for anybody. And our Gadsden, that was my first custom design, and it's killer. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In my mind.
100%. I'm going to actually put the Gadsden on screen so people can see what he's talking about. In the notes, when he sent over, he said that this is your best seller right here.
Yeah,
the Gadsden. And I love on the website, you actually list a number of different techniques that are recommended. And I also love, a drop shot, obvious. I think that's a go-to. Ned Rig, Nico, Demiki. But you also list like plastic firmness on a scale. And I think that that's really, really unique and very cool, to be honest. Yeah. This is like, what, a 2 out of 5?
Yeah, so the 5 is going to be like, so is it 4 or 5?
It looks like 4.
Okay. I think the 5 was probably our saltwater blend that we ended up doing. But so the 1 was a drop shot blend, if you will, but very, very soft. I have to update the site now that you say that, because I'm getting rid of the 1. So the 2 will now be the 1.
The 2 will be the softest.
Yeah. Just, and I'm not closed-minded in any sense in regards to that. So a few people reach out. They're like, hey man, so the 1 was the Dragoon. That's another drop shot bait.
Oh, okay.
They're like, yo, I love the Gadsden. It works great. Dragoons just tear a little bit easy. I just want to let you know this and that. So after a few people, you know what I mean? I'm like, maybe I should just bump it up. It's not going to hurt anything as far as the action goes. So,
a crazy thing about, the baits, like most of their baits, is you notice that they have those eyes, which is a huge thing in the bait market right now. And like, what is something that blew my mind is he tells me, he's like, oh yeah, like me, the wife, and the kids, we hand glue all the eyes to all the baits.
Bananas.
Yeah. How the wife, not the kids, me and the wife. Oh,
you and the wife, not the kids. Yeah. Soon enough.
Yeah, when they come.
Taylor and I have kids around the same age, so I get it. I wouldn't be having my fucking twins putting that shit on yet.
No, nobody wants
it. Googly eyed, but
they're not reliable enough.
Yeah, but that's huge. That one single detail is so big in the industry right now, and just the fact that they are putting those. It's one thing to have them on hard baits, the jerk baits, the crank baits, and whatever. Yeah, and even now the bladed jigs. But to have them on your soft plastics, that's a game changer.
Oh yeah,
absolute game changer.
It's go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially for like around me, smallmouth is huge in New York, and I'm sure around you guys as well. And that is like. That's key, because they're vicious, man. They attack on sight, and they just want something to piss them off half the time. So it's,
and that's the other thing too about like as far as the eyes on plastic specifically. It's that little kind of those little details that are really, you can only innovate on certain baits so much. So you really have to pay attention to put your signature on things. And you know that how people use that phrase, show them something different all the time. Well, if that little bit of glitter in that eye on that drop shot bait on the Gadsden happens to get the attention of one more fish, that could be the difference between making a check or not in a tournament.
Sure. Absolutely.
It's the innovate, like what I love, like, the one thing what I loved with Taylor and Fish or Die is, especially when I got down there and I saw all the baits, in person, is, we talked about like how he has his own molds, but it's we are now in like a market of, like, for instance, like the Yamamoto Senko, like all those aren't, you can get those molds anywhere. They're not, shit, what's that word I'm looking for?
They're not proprietary.
Yeah. So anyone can
do it. Actually bought the whatever you call that.
Yeah. So and yes, the blend of plastisol and everything's different. Oh yeah, I'm sure. But no, like Taylor and Fish or Die have their own molds, their own design. So like in a realm of like in other people we've talked to or we've seen, it's all like Andrew from Tackle Talk or
he's got to get back to me. God damn it.
Yeah. I'll get in touch with him. I'll tell him to.
Joe and Andrew are homies now.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. Andrew and I had some good conversations in Columbus, but no, even like Tactical Bassin or whatever, they talk about how, it's just, you can only reinvent the wheel so many times.
Yeah.
The good thing about Taylor is he figured it the fuck out. He figured out a way to reinvent the wheel. In the little things from his own molds to the little details like the eyes. It's like, that's the kind of shit that's what, like, if I'm not, but if I was a buyer or marketing at Tackle Warehouse, that's the shit I'm looking for.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like he has set himself apart, and it is showing.
Yep.
In such a short time too, with only being in business for 3 years. It's absolutely.
It's bonkers.
Bananas. Yeah, it's bananas.
It really is. In 3 years' time, that's crazy, and everything is in house. That's nuts. What do you think the 5-year plan is, Taylor? Like, what do you think as far as, I'm thinking more on terms of like growth of, are you going to start adding like more help to kind of take some of the weight off your shoulders, or is this something you're nose to the grindstone until you just can't?
Yeah. It's it's kind of nose to the grindstone till I can't.
Yeah.
But within 5 years, I want to move south.
Yep.
Half my family.
You and me both.
Well, you got a year and a half left. You ain't got long.
I do.
Half my family's in St. Pete. Beautiful, beautiful area on the Gulf in Florida. And if I were to dream and tell you what I want, I would love to just buy a piece of property down there, build on it with a big pole barn. And that's kind of my full-time gig, 9 to 5. That's what I'm doing.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about waking up at fucking 2 a.m. anymore and being tired 24/7. And I can really make a run at it in the industry, and of course hire help.
Of course. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It.
Yeah. I need it now. I can't afford it. So everything up until this point and probably the remainder of this year will continue to go back into the company.
Yeah.
I think I lie. At the end of this year, I think we'll start not having to anymore. But there's my issue is I'm always seeing improvements.
Yeah.
That's the negative as far as like how my mind works with it, where the clamshells, Joe, you saw them in person. They're awesome. They're a need be.
Yeah.
Especially for your baits with all the detail and whatever. You don't want to just stick that shit in a random plastic bag. I mean, we've all seen it with craws and stuff where they get all fucked up and crimped and whatever.
Yeah. I want it to look good. And that was a kind of a knee-jerk reaction by me this past year. Obviously, I knew we needed to do that.
Yep.
I kind of wanted to price it out and wait a little bit, and I just said fuck it. So, yeah. So we'll be putting a little bit more in. I'm trying to do a saltwater bait as well.
Yep.
I'm rolling out a Ned bait within the next few months, which should be pretty killer. I'm working on that with a stud at Bethel University, Dylan Fogarty. So
nice.
That's crazy,
dude.
Good
That's
for you.
Friggin' so awesome. As far as like, is there any corner as far as baits that you sort of maybe you've had some feedback that you're looking to carry in the future, like a design or something that you kind of want to tap into?
What do you mean?
I'm talking like are you gonna take the leap and get into like doing like 6
like
or
hard
7
baits, for example?
Well, either hard baits, yeah, that's a great example, or like even getting into still with plastics, but like more like boot tail style, like swim baits, like larger stuff like that.
Gotcha. I'm extremely hesitant on the big swim baits. Extremely hesitant. Reason being, every bait that I make, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I do not do laminates. So I don't do any laminated baits. Personally, I think there's benefits depending on the style mold and technique that you're using.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's catching customers. In all reality. In all reality. So, and me being hand injecting it.
Yep.
A dual injected mold. Number one, it's human error. So you're going to have some baits that aren't correct that I then have to chew up and reuse, and you can't do that with laminates. So I learned my first year financially. That was not a good idea.
Gotcha.
And I think those big swim baits, that is one one type of bait that probably is beneficial to be made that way, especially now with all the high end ones out there that are being produced, and they're great baits.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Sure.
In a sense, I'm smart enough not to take on things that I can't do. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah. And you need to be as a business owner first.
Yeah.
Like you gotta make the right move. What works best for you?
Yeah, like I would say a lot of our baits all go head to head with big companies, and and I'll put my stuff up against most. But for something like that, I would wave the white flag for sure.
So let me ask you this. So you mentioned a Ned bait, and you didn't even mention that to me, I don't think, down in Pennsylvania.
I might have forgotten.
So I'm sure it might be under wraps a little bit, and but is there anything you can tell us about that? Only because, and the main reason I'm asking that is Ned bait fishing is huge up here.
Oh yeah.
Ned rigs are huge. So it kind of tickles my fancy a little bit to hear you talk about that. So is there anything that you can tell us about your upcoming Ned bait?
So I can send you a text of my sketch, and then
okay.
What I will tell you is that to give you a good idea is how we're working on it. What's huge now is those everyone's doing the very, very micro jigs nets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With some type of skirt. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's really popular right now with a lot of folks.
Yeah, and it catches fish. It's not just.
Oh yeah.
I forget what his name was. He won the one tournament using that. What the hell was it? Was it a Berkeley General? They're like TRD.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be cool. For the time being, right now, my manufacturer is doing multiple molds for me of the stuff we already have. So that way, another big order hopefully comes in.
Sure.
I won't be killing myself. So I want to get those molds first, and then I'm going to finish this process of designing that.
Right.
No, it makes sense.
Another thing too is that I want to talk about is Fish or Die doesn't just have soft plastics. They also have scents, their own scents, and they are also now dabbling into the terminal tackle realm.
Oh,
so
really?
I don't
realize that.
Yeah, so I don't want to pass that up either.
Yeah, so we got it's not filled right now, but just gives you an idea. So we did this is a freshwater version. So we do the 3 fluid ounces of all of our scents that we use. So straight crawl, crawl squid, crawl with garlic, crawl with coffee. And then we have the saltwater ones as well. Bunker, cheddar crab, clam. What else? That might be it.
And that's huge for our listeners too, because we have a ton of listeners that fish for stripers in the canals, the Cape Cod canals, stuff like that. So, one thing that Fish or Die does have saltwater products as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the website, and I'm pretty amazed at some of the stuff that you've got available.
Yeah, I'm huge into stripers. I love going to Sandy Hook and chasing those. It's a freaking blast.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can zoom in or if you can see it or whatnot, but we got the worm on there, the 1/4. And then if you can see the line tie there, what I wanted to do, because I hate those damn
the ones that clip on your line.
The pinch. Yeah.
Just horrendous.
Cut your line half the time. And
yeah, I'm just losing them anytime you get stuck.
Yep.
So I had that idea. She actually sent it to me, the one manufacturer. I said, that's awesome. Let's keep it. I've never seen that before. I think we're the only ones that have that as far as line tie goes. But it enables you to, when you're hitting shoals or you're going from short to deep, vice versa.
Yep.
It's just a quick change. So what I do a small little split ring.
Yep.
I think I buy them at home, Hobby Lobby. So you go from, 10, 14 feet, and then all of a sudden now you're at, 45, 50. It's just, I keep one in my pocket and I just switch it out real quick. The weights.
It's a really good idea. They just clip on, like onto that ring.
Yeah, it's almost like a keychain with your keys.
Yeah. That's
Or you can literally just tie on. It's the same concept, but it gives you that added benefit. You know what I mean? So.
That's awesome.
And for us New England folks, those are tungsten.
I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah, those are tungsten.
That's awesome, dude. So you're in the tungsten game, and dude.
Yeah. And we started out with those because, like I said, huge drop shot guy, and everyone I associate with within the industry. So we started out with those, and I'm sure we'll hopefully branch out to the worm weights and.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just going to take a matter of time. Like you've got some really
tough to figure out because it's so fucking expensive.
Oh,
like
yeah.
no matter how you do it, So
yeah.
It's crazy. I'm looking at some of the stuff on your site right now. Like you've got a couple of bundles, saltwater bundle, largemouth bundle, smallmouth bundle, which is a great way to get the baits in the hands of folks if they're like, I kind of want to try. Yeah, they kind of want to try a little bit of everything, but that's really good because it's sort of like, at least from the consumer, it feels like you're putting your stamp of approval. Like if this is what you're targeting, these are great to throw in your experience. Like that's really kind of a great way to sort of sample it and everything. And I mean, you've got a bunch of stuff here on the site. Let's get into like, do you have a favorite? I know the Gadsden is your best selling. What's your favorite to throw?
It'd be that.
It's that.
Yeah. I'd
I
be
can see
lying
why.
if I said something else. Yeah. I'm sure in June when I'm up at the St. Lawrence River and I'm throwing the Ajax every day, I'm sure that'll be my favorite. You know what I mean? But I use that, like I said, 90% of the time.
So it's funny because Taylor and I have been talking since Harrisburg about, obviously there's logistics of it work out, but the ABA military tournaments at Hartwell this year. So I'm hoping he can figure it out and we can do it together and to get him on those spots. But I'll get him to use something other than the Gadsden out there for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping, dude. Since we texted about that, I've been trying to figure.
I get it.
It's tough.
It's a grind, man. It's a grind. So let's talk, getting back to you and fishing personally, is there anything that, a body of water that you've got on the bucket list that you would just love to sink your teeth into, throw these baits in?
Probably, I would love to go to Fork.
Yeah.
Would love to go to Fork.
That's on my bucket list too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Land of Giants.
Yeah, St. Lawrence I've been to, and that's smallmouth heaven up there. So Fork's probably my largemouth. I don't know, even smallmouth out in Idaho. I heard what's that with Josh Jones, his freaking bag that he put together.
Yep,
unbelievable. So maybe out west somewhere. I got to go to Cali eventually and do like a Delta trip. That would be pretty cool.
That's a big one on my radar.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, that would be legit. Okeechobee would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Now that it's coming back, Texas I think has taken over as the Mecca, but Okeechobee is coming back very quickly.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's cool. I love seeing Martin win during the Open.
Yeah. Even like Florida's coming back. You got Okeechobee. I got a few drinks in me, guys. So
fair.
Okeechobee's good. St. John's River is still there, but I think you're right. Texas is kind of taking the Mecca from them, and I wish we saw. I mean, I even wish we saw more tournaments out in Cali, like Clear Lake and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I know.
It's I don't know. One of the guys that we had at the Dark Horse Tackle Airbnb is from California. He flew in, and just like knowing how the fishing is out there, it's just I'm really surprised that they don't have more out there.
Yeah, I know. It's Zaldane's from out there, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know. Yeah, it would be killer, man. It's in the first time in years, so I'm sure their showing would be huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
No, it makes sense.
But Fork, I get Fork. It's probably my number one, man. That's like I said, that's a land of giants. I mean, even watching, Milliken and stuff, just the fucking fish that he gets out of there. I mean, he moved there for a reason.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
50 pound bags. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
and they do it right. Like, people hate on Josh Jones all the time, and same with Milliken, but I mean, they're not dummies, man.
No, not at all.
No.
They're putting in the time and in the money. And with Josh Jones, he goes. I laugh. He goes back and forth with the Oklahoma Fish and Boat or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Texas does it correctly. Their program, their lunker program, that is top notch. That's why they are the new number one.
Right.
And I think I was telling you, Joe, like, I wish states, like every state could do what they do.
Sort of emulate what they're doing down there.
It's not like we can't. Like for PA, it's very, very mediocre. And there's no reason, in my mind, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. But to go get the same type of program mentality, go to Lake Erie, get those monster smallmouth from Lake Erie, and then start putting them in the lakes around all over PA.
Yeah. Get the best genes in these other places and then call out some of those stunted fish.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about a million times on the show, like, you know, our 1 pounder, our 2 pounders here are 5 and 6s in Texas. You know what I mean? Like, they're catching my PBs like we catch, 1-2 pounders around here. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. Guys are walking out of work to like a fucking pond off the highway and catching a 5 pounder on their lunch break.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Crazy. And they're like, oh man, I wish I got something bigger.
There are, that's the thing. There are big fish, like, but like when you're further up north, the grow season is different. It's a lot more of a challenge to break that 5 pound mark.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
Yeah. Bobby did it. Bobby did it up here.
I did it. I got lucky. I got fucking lucky. Wait,
from the bank too, Taylor. From the bank.
Really?
Yeah. Joe, you haven't broken the 5 pound mark?
I've broken the 5. I haven't broken the 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
You're into the BFS though now, right, Bobby?
I am. Yeah, I'm starting to get into because I like to look at fishing as like I'm trying to be the whole angler, like dabble everywhere, figure out really like what I like the best. But I was out, and actually in this episode, I'm going to share a story about when I was out this last week and I tried 4 spots, skunked at all of them. Wind was ridiculous. But I have never been more amazed in my BFS setup than I was on Saturday or on Friday morning. Unbelievable. Like casting micro jigs with like just unbelievable accuracy. And I'm like, it's pretty awesome. Have you dabbled at all? Have you gotten into it?
I haven't. It's tempting because you throw that thing right in your car or your truck, anywhere you go.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very tempting.
I have one BFS set up, and I don't know if I told you, I've talked about it on the show. I don't use it a ton for tournaments just because it's so like I'm trying to get fish into the boat quickly. You know what I mean? And you really can't with that BFS setup. But I was at Hartwell pre-fishing, and I had hooked into something, and my BFS reel, Corrado BFS, fucking the handle just like shot off with the spring and everything, like just exploded as I'm bringing this fish in. But so I was like, so it kind of put a sour taste in my mouth, but or a bad taste in my mouth. But I actually did do we had talked at the Dark Horse Airbnb.
Oh yeah,
that about the warranty. Like I think it might have been Adam telling me like, no, do you need to like contact them? They have a really good warranty program, and they do.
So, yeah, they do.
Yep. So they gave me everything, and I just got to ship it out now. So, but it is to have that casting setup and being able to do stuff that you typically would have to do on a spinning setup on a casting setup. It's pretty cool.
It's
fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
What I'm really looking forward to this year is some wet wades with that single rod, like super minimal, like small bundle of tackle, as light as can be. And just, because I'll tell you, one of the things, like you mentioned trout earlier, this year, one of the things that I noticed this year that I really sort of floored me a little bit was that I was catching trout on tiny little swim baits, like 2-inch swim baits, like crazy. And what a fun way to catch them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they won't bite an inline spinner. Sometimes, you don't have the right color or whatever. Like changing out swim baits is so simple, and it's not something that they see all the time. And I was just absolutely crushing them. I went out to harvest trout. There's one day, and that's all I was doing is throwing around one of these. And so what I've been throwing lately are just these tiny little mule jigs with these what the hell do they call them? Oh, the donkey tail swim baits. Oh my God.
So question for you, if you know, who owns Mule?
I believe his name is Ethan, and he has a YouTube channel called Fish Anything.
Okay.
I believe. I'm pretty sure his name is Ethan.
They have some cool stuff. I always see
really cool stuff.
Yeah, I always see Paul Glass post them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Him and Ramon. Ramon fishes ultralight almost exclusively, and like I look at it like this: this BFS setup is just one little tool in the arsenal, because I'm trying to build like a wide spectrum of combos to do everything from big swim baits to the tiniest finesse stuff. Now, I am so congested, folks. I apologize if you're hearing me. You guys hear it too. I sound like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I'm sitting here. It's a mess.
It was from the 2 hours of sleep a night you were getting in Ohio.
I don't know. I feel like I was pretty well rested in Ohio. I don't know, but I am interested, Taylor, in a couple of things. First off, it would be a Jigs Bigs interview if we didn't talk about food. It just wouldn't. So we got to squeeze a little bit of that in here. But I'm going to ask you for two stories. I'm going to give you that question, let you kind of think about it a little bit in the back of your mind. So what I'm looking for from you are two stories, okay? Like one of them being the moment that you were either most proud of on the water, or, that go-to story if you were at an event and somebody said, "Oh yeah, here you fish." Like that sort of story. It might not even be about fishing. It might be like a story that you had something to do with a customer involving one of your products.
Okay.
And then the other thing I want is like the biggest sort of like the biggest epic fail, of your fishing life, like that sort of story when it just all went to hell in a handbasket.
That's fucking easy.
Oh yeah, I bet you it is. but before we get there, so go ahead and kind of process some of those. Before we get there, I want to know this. I ask every guest this. So let's say we're fishing in your area, right? And like, I'm a firm believer that the best way to end either a great or a terrible day of fishing is with a good meal. Maybe it's a late breakfast, maybe it's lunch, whatever it might be. But I'm looking for a mom and pop spot that you're like, yeah, this is where we're going.
Yeah, I'll give you breakfast.
I love that.
So right off my road, Family and Friends Restaurant in Wingate, Pennsylvania. It is unbelievable. In mom and pop, that's exactly what it is. It's family owned. The prices barely have changed in years. So you're not paying $30 for breakfast. It's great.
Yeah.
I love walking in. All the old timers are at the same spot they're always at, bullshitting, reading the paper. That's
my favorite.
That's my dream when I get old. That's what I want.
Yeah.
But so definitely them. And I might be biased. When I first started all this out, I actually had a live bait vending machine that I thought I thought that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
And it was just extremely time consuming, and I couldn't keep up with it with the plastics.
Sure.
So they were nice enough. I didn't know them prior, but I approached them and they were nice enough for me to put that there. So I had that there for about a year and a half.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. They're good people.
Yeah. That's great. So let's dive into these stories. The good, the bad. You take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
So good. I've mentioned this in the past, my last one, but it is memorable, so I'll say it again. Sandy Hook trip. I was supposed to wake up early. My grandfather was supposed to come with me, and then my brother. I don't know what the hell happened. I forget, honestly, if somebody slept in or it was supposed to rain, whatever, but it came to be 11 a.m. and I'm like, I have nothing going on. I'm free the rest of the day. My grandfather's retired. So I'm like, hey, do you want to go? All right, I'll go with you. Text my brother. Hey, do you still want to go? I'm waking up now. Yeah. So we end up going out. We stop at the tackle box, of course, on Route 36.
Yep.
they're good friends of mine. And Phil hooked us up with what we needed. He sent us where we needed to go right at the point there. In the action, the stripers were blitzing like crazy. It was absolutely unreal. I've never, this was 2 years ago. I've never had an experience like that with stripers. It was just insane. I mean, layers and layers of stripers coming out of the water, chasing bunker. It was just an absolute blast. And my grandfather, he's, like I said, walking the streams with him, fishing for trout. He's ecstatic with like a 14-inch brown trout. You know what I mean? So these huge stripers holding them. I mean, it was pretty gnarly.
That's pretty wild, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild. And that's how it is sometimes. Like, it's the timing, you know. Imagine had you not slept in and you were out there earlier and totally missed that blitz, you could have been in some other spot.
Yep. And if we woke up early like we typically would have and get there at 5 a.m.
Yep.
Maybe they're not there at the time. Maybe they're not hitting it hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? That my grandfather gets pissed. Why'd I come out here? That we leave before it's happened.
Before it all goes down. That's awesome, man. It's so wild too, because like I'm thinking I hate to say I'm in the market to buy a boat, but I'm looking to buy a boat.
You are.
He's not lying. I am. I'm looking to buy. No, not a bass boat. That is an expense I don't need. I just need something like well, I guess you'd consider it like a fish and ski, or like something with a deeper V hull that I could do a lot of different stuff with, because I would like to be able to go and, you know, take it on large bodies of water and troll. You know, again, getting into that whole angler sort of mentality.
Yeah.
But I'm looking. The reason why I want to do it is because I love kayak fishing, and I will continue until I am unable to kayak fish. I love it. I love the solidarity. I love the stealth. I absolutely love it.
It's blowing up.
It really is.
These last 2 years, it's like,
yeah, it really is.
And you know, there are bodies of water that I fish that it just doesn't make sense to throw any size boat with any sort of an outboard on there at all. Yep. So like, I'm going to do that like as often as I am, as I'm able to. But the thing I love most about fishing is fishing with other people. You know, I think that I looked at it like this. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, so if I were to go to like Quabbin Reservoir, which is up near us, it's a big drinking water reservoir. You can't bring any boat in there. They have a special program where you have to get a seal, and then, you know, all this. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Taylor and I talked about this when we were in Pennsylvania.
But of course,
you can rent a boat.
So it's like $60 for a day. It's not terrible. It's terrible if you're doing it every single week, because that is like a boat payment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like,
if
I could just fish with my dad 4 times a month, it's worth it. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, he's retired. He's got the time. I own my own business. I've got the flexibility. 100% I would do that. Factor in that now I can fish with my daughters and my wife, you know. She's already signed on that, like, if there's a boat, like, she's coming out with me, which is great. She's like, I might read a book. I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm going to get you on some big smallmouth, and you're going to fucking shit your pants.
Yeah. It'll be a blast.
So, yeah, that's a big one, man.
I'm trying to convince my wife to do the I think it might be ABA, Joe.
The couples league?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all down south though, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's far. It's far. There's not too many divisions that do it.
I think that's kind of neat.
You know what?
My wife is kind of a hammer, dude. She gets on them. And,
I kind of like where this is going, Joe. We could do a national CPR couples league.
Yeah.
Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Why
true.
not? We could fuck around with that and find out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I think that's a really good idea. So yeah, that's as into the market as I am, but for the right reasons, like for exactly what you said there. Like, I want to have that outing, you know, with the people I love, and not have to be like, you know, have them scared shitless because they're in my old kayak. Like, oh my god.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm trying to sell it just because my family's grown. I got 3 young boys, but we started out with I still have a 16-foot sun tracker.
Oh, yeah.
pontoon, and it's the fishing version. It's fucking great.
You know, my wife has told me before. She's like, you should just get a pontoon boat. That'd be a whole lot of fun. You know,
it is hard to fish though with what we like doing.
Exactly, and like because I did that when I was at Champlain. We rented a pontoon on one day, and like was it 5 of us, 4 of us, 4 or 5 of us all went out. We had a good time. We didn't catch shit. you know?
I mean, for kids throwing out bobbers and kind of you're just kind of sitting there drinking.
Yep,
ideal.
Perfect.
Yeah,
but that's not what we do.
Launching and loading a pontoon is a whole different world. Though.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
from anything else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no good. Last thing I need to do is be classed as lake lice. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
After some of the shit I've slanged around on the internet. No, I don't need to do that. So what about that one?
Easy. I told you this, Joe. My Cayuga trip last year. So I was a member of Slay Nation. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Oh, yeah. Frankie Provolone, baby. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. So I was going up to Cayuga for the Civil War. I think it was PA versus New York. And event was Saturday. So I went up Friday, pre-fish. So for me, 3.5 hour drive.
Not too bad.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
Wife's bitching though.
Not great though.
Yeah.
Not great.
No, not great. Certainly not great.
So orders are in the queue to be made. Kids are crazy, and wife just was annoyed. But regardless, so I get the kayak all loaded up. I'm ready to go out there. So I have nowhere to go. I've never been to Cayuga, and I launch at the north side, and some other people are launching. So I'm kind of just cruising, finding my way, and I had a Hobie Passport.
Yep.
So I'm like 230, 235. I'm not small. And I had the Yak Attack crate on the back, fucking loaded up.
Yep.
It was probably 100 pounds. I had every single rod. I had like 8 rods. So I'm going, I'm fishing, trying to figure out the lake. I'm looking at maps, this and that. And it's not crazy choppy, but it's windy.
Yeah.
And you know how those lakes can get. So,
oh yeah.
Excuse me. So I make a cast, I'm doing something, and it was my own fault. I leaned a little too hard.
Oh yeah.
Fucking go in. So me being a newbie to the kayak world and being a little too comfortable and content, I didn't strap any of my stuff down.
Oh no.
So I'm in the water. Boom. Now I'm floating. The thing goes off. I'm just floating there in Cayuga, and my phone, $2,500 probably.
Oh yeah.
Worth of rods and reels, all my tackle, bottom of the lake.
It's fucking insane, dude.
It's funny because a very similar thing happened to me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you just don't like.
You don't think it's gonna happen?
No, because like with mine, I was like, I was at the time when I had that kayak, I had a I can't think of the name right now. Starts with an R. Anyway, it had like gunnels kind of on the side. So I
thought you had a Slayer, Joe.
So before that, remember I had 2?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
right. I had missed a hook set, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw something else out to him. I go to like throw it in the gunnel next to me, but missed, and like the rod went to the water, and just like real quick, I just leaned over to try to scoop it, and next thing you know, I was choking up water. And
it's like a natural reaction too.
Yeah, that's it. You don't even think about it, but
that's rough.
And it was the worst because I mean I'm 3.5 hours away. Obviously now I'm floating. Luckily, his name's Justin Kozlansky, a good friend of mine here from PA. He was in a boat pre-fishing.
Oh, okay.
And he saw it happen, and they came over on the boat, got me. Luckily, I had my keys in the undercarriage of the canoe or the kayak, so I had my truck but no phone. So then I had to go to the ranger station.
Yeah, and make a call.
Like it was fucking 1998 and print out MapQuest.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
To the nearest T-Mobile and buy a $2,000 phone so I could GPS my way back home. and explained to my wife what
who was
occurred.
already annoyed.
Yeah,
who was already annoyed.
So
what the hell did you do?
By far the worst.
That's rough, dude. Like the financial loss, like anytime you flip a kayak, you're gambling with something. Like I've done fucked up in my kayak a couple of times. I haven't gone in like anything crazy deep or anything. I've never had a PFD go off or anything like that. But that said, like you always lose something. There's always something that just gets wrecked or like it's never the same. I mean, I thought I messed up my Corrado. When I first, my first Corrado.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, shit. And I cleaned it out as best as I could. It's fine. You know, it's all right. But yeah, I was worried. I was like, this is crazy. That sucks, dude. Because the gear that you lose is definitely one thing. The phone, that's the biggest pain in the ass. Isn't it crazy how like attached to the hip we are at these things?
Yeah.
Like so many people are useless without them. I make my living on these. You know. Oh, that is freaking bananas.
And the worst part is that I have no one else to blame but myself.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That whole ride home, I'm just thinking about it. Like, why the hell did I not strap everything down?
Yeah,
I mean, they have straps. Why did I not use them?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Same thing for me, dude. Like I lost so many rods and reels. I was like, if I just wasn't fucking lazy and I just strapped them in, I would have been fine.
Yep.
It is. It's freaking bananas, dude. Well, hey, Taylor, thank you for so much for being part of the show. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to obviously very, very good things for your company, but also I'm excited to see how this works with Joe, you know, because I know what you're getting into. If you need any, if you need any references or anything, I got you. No, I think you've got one hell of a guy who's going to be an amazing spokesperson for your products, which are amazing and they speak volumes on their own already. So do yourself a favor, man. Promote. Where can folks find out more about Fish or Die, the company, more about you? If they have any questions, what's the best way to get a hold of you, and what platforms can you be found on?
Yeah, so easiest would be Instagram. So we're Fish or Die Bait Co. at the end. I'm in charge of the account, obviously, doing everything. So you shoot me a message, I'll get back to you. And same with Facebook. I think it's just Fish or Die Bait Company. The website itself, fishordiebaitcompany.com. So you can find everything there. But like you said early on, I encourage everybody to go to Tackle Warehouse. Support me that way. I would like as much traffic as possible to keep them coming back. So I think that would be the best way to support me if they're planning on doing so.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. I'm stoked for you. I really am.
Yeah, awesome. Excited.
And maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get you an Omnia soon. You know?
Dude, I've reached out to him, so I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Yeah. I got a strong feeling. They're a Minnesota company. I think they would eat up some of your products.
Yeah,
just in what they could sell like locally at their brick and mortar alone, I think would be insane. Yep. So,
yeah,
I mean, a huge deal would be knowing that you're already in Tackle Warehouse. Like any of these other folks, why wouldn't they?
All it takes is one, and then boom, you're going to see it. It's going to happen. I 100% agree.
Yeah, I think within a month and a half, hopefully, we'll start hearing from Tackle Warehouse how everything's looking on their end and the traction, and so
it's so important to get that feedback. You know, like if you're working for somebody, you got to know what's going on. It's critical. It's nuts. And I think, also like I know that the Dark Horse Tackle community would love to see, some Ajax or any of your baits that you've got in their boxes. So, maybe that we got to make that happen.
I'm going to hook them up. I'm going to hook them up.
Yeah, give them my number. We'll make it happen. That's what I told them.
You're gonna have to start teaching the boys to shoot plastic, man.
That's what's gonna happen. Those are going to be your best employees. You know what I mean?
It's loyal. That's all I need is loyalty.
That's exactly it.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't buy loyalty. That is crazy.
Yeah,
freaking bananas, dude.
And Bobby, I told Joe for that June trip, St. Lawrence. Yep. You're more than welcome. You know what I mean?
I'm all about it.
I'm trying to get a nice cabin up there, Airbnb, and I got that Dylan kid that I mentioned that's working on the net rig. I extended the invite. Obviously, a few guys from PA. So
whereabouts on the St. Lawrence are you planning on going? Like Thousand Islands, A-Bay?
Yeah, near Clayton, most likely.
I might have a real nice Airbnb to send you to.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. That's right.
They're also fellow bait makers.
We talked about A-Bay Lure Lab. Yeah, they're right there on the same. Yep. Actually, I don't know if we talked about them. So yeah, they do all my hard baits and stuff. Christina, he hand paints everything.
All custom paint, yeah.
Oh, dude,
beautiful.
Check them out. They're fucking wild. And he uses all the blanks that we always buy anyway.
Yeah.
Like the DTs, the Vision 110s, and he's just hand painting them. They're phenomenal.
That's awesome. I get asked all the time about venturing into that. I mean, my schedule so as it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I can't dabble into something else, but down the road, that 5-10 year mark, I would love to do something like that. That'd be cool.
That's what it's all about. It's all about growing at the right pace, because if you spread yourself too thin, and I feel like we've talked about this specifically with a plastics company in the past, when you spread yourself too thin and you try to do everything all the time, like you got to stick to what you're good at and really build that up to where it can sustain on its own. Then expand and see where the growth is.
Yep.
It's all timing.
That's 100%. Dude. Well, Taylor, this is really, really great, man. I'm stoked. This is the very first Jigs and Bigs interview that we've recorded video for, where the listeners are going to be able to, we're basically going to be dropping these after the podcast drops, so that this way we can kind of double up and get more attention on the content that we're creating. So we're trying to double dip a little bit with YouTube and podcasting. We'll see how it goes. But I appreciate you doing being a part of the show. I love your products. I think it's awesome. I wish we had some weather that was like a little bit more in the wheelhouse of going out and throwing some conventional shit.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of skim ice everywhere. I'm losing my mind. I'm about to take a ride to the Cape.
Washing everywhere.
Maybe next weekend.
There you go.
Maybe. I don't know. I got so much shit going on. It is crazy.
Next weekend, we're busy, Bobby. We're busy
next weekend. You're right. Next weekend we are.
We got
the Springfield show, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Springfield show. The Sportsman show is happening. We're going to be big thing that we're doing is promoting our multi-species online scavenger hunt. This is a big thing that we're doing, and we're going to have some props. I tried to actually order either a plush or like a rubber, like a toy bass, so I can put it on my catch board and show like, oh yeah, here's props, because people love that stuff. They can try stuff out for themselves or whatever. Yeah. And we'll probably have some fun with it, but they won't get here until after the show's gone by. I was like, son of a bitch. So I'm gonna have to get creative.
Real quick, I don't know why I just thought about this. Your hat, the Smallies hat.
Oh yeah, a Sheegan.
Yeah, a Sheegan. They're I would say social media friends. We've been in contact, and we'll be part of their board this year. So
oh really?
Oh awesome.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
20-inch smallmouth caught on a fish or die bait, and we're trying to do a custom color for them. So
that's freaking awesome.
Awesome.
I love seeing all this stuff come together. Like everybody's.
I love collabing. I think I'll legitimately collab with anybody.
The community's coming back together.
Yeah,
slowly but surely, it's coming back together. Finally,
everything is cyclical. It's like you get into something, life changes, it happens, and then it's just all about rolling with it and taking it all as it comes and making the best of it.
That's right.
Sweet. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you, Taylor. We appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, thank you again.
We will be back, guys, with more Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. Alrighty, guys. It was really, really good interview with Taylor. I'm glad we had him on the show. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like as we get into the season in full swing for what they have. I'm interested to see where that buzz kind of takes Fish or Die. I'm also interested to see what's going on. It's so funny, man. While I was out with Paul was only throwing a drop shot. Let me repeat.
Paul was only throwing a drop shot today.
That is so unlike him. I was like, are you running some kind of a fever? Are you okay?
What did you do with my friend?
And so he's loving this new combo. And I told him, I said, you know what? There's a couple of drop shot baits specifically that I really think you should take a look into.
Yeah.
Because they're juicy. And, you want to show him something different. This is a good way to do it, So
I know we talked about in that interview, we talked a little bit about that, the Ned bait they're coming out with. And he did shoot me a picture of the mock up, and
it looks good.
Chef's kiss. Yeah.
Their Hellgrammite looks great. I also think it's amazing that the Hellgrammite comes in 2 sizes. I think it's great that it's a 3 and a 4. I'm telling you, man, that is like when you think of like a plastics company, and I was like, why can't I find this Sense anywhere on the site? It's a different brand on the Sense. Yeah, I'm like, it's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's so well put together. Yeah.
Yep.
It's really, really great stuff. It's so funny. I'm stoked to throw the Ajax. I'm really. I really kind of want to see what that looks like on the sled head. That might be pretty juicy.
Yeah.
So we'll fool around with that. It'll be kind of interesting. And that's kind of cool because now I can try a couple of different baits on a couple of different pieces of terminal tackle and get a little bit of feedback, as to what I like better or whatnot. And, I've been hearing from a lot of folks with those big Joshy swim baits, same thing. Throw it on a ball head jig and you're going to get a different sort of action out of it than if you throw it on something like the sled head or more of a swim bait head. So who knows?
Yep.
Who the fuck knows?
I don't.
Sweet.
That about does it for me this week, guys. Springfield Sportsman Show kicks off on Friday at noon. Come on by, quit your job, meet us at the Sportsman Show. Buy yourself a boat, a camper, a shit ton of jerky, gain 40 pounds, and become a rock star of the outdoors. Be your authentic self is what I'm saying.
Just come hang out with us, degenerates.
Yeah, that's even better idea right there. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. We will be at our booth all weekend long. It's going to be such a good one, guys. I'm also going to be posting a link on our all of our socials so that people can sign up on our mailing list so they can be entered in for that giveaway because I got great stuff. Stuff from, like I said, AMA, Hooks and Hoodlums. I've got stuff from Heat Your Meat. I've got stuff from Robusto Custom Lures. I've also got stuff from Dark Horse Tackle too. We got this information coming in as well. You guys don't want to miss out. We have great stuff. Just so much good stuff for you guys, So just, pull your heads out of your asses and, start listening to the podcast goodness that we have laid out for you every week for free.
It's not that hard.
It's true. We make this shit look easy. All right. Guys, have a great week, everybody. We will see you in 7 days with probably some more good stuff from the Springfield Sportsman Show. I'm sure we're going to have some interviews, and I'm going to be interviewing folks that are there as well. In fact, there's some folks that have hit me up already telling me that they're looking forward to come back. They saw us or got into the show last year. They're interested in coming back. So that should be a whole lot of fun. We have much more good stuff coming up for you in a week, guys. If you are getting out there and catching them, please do us a favor and tag us in your pictures. Tag us in your videos. We would love to see them. We'll obviously like, comment, share, all that good stuff for you because we appreciate you and we want to live vicariously through you and your fish catches until, of course, it's game on for us. And for me, that's looking like in the first half of March. That should be happening. So I'm looking forward to it. Freaking jacked. You boys have anything you want to chime in with as we wrap this sucker up?
That's it. We'll see everyone in Springfield.
I love it. Exactly, baby. Get your jerky and take a Pepsi. We'll see you. Don't go too far, guys. More Jigs and Bigs goodness coming up in 7 days. Like we always say.
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.